121. Breaking into the Seven Monsters, 2-in-1 chapter. Wang Li clapped his hands. Both your third and fourth spirit rings were absorbed beyond their age limits. That's truly impressive. But Tang-san, since you took 2 spirit rings from a man-faced demon spider, have you ever thought about taking more spirit rings from plant spirit beasts? Tang-san blinked, then explained. According to my Grandmaster's theory, a plant spirit can accept animal spirit rings, and because of the blue silvergrass's peculiar nature, it can accept spirit rings of other attributes. The man-faced demon spider's domineering ring was absorbed by my blue silvergrass, and it caused my blue silvergrass to mutate. Even as a trash spirit, my blue silvergrass isn't inferior to many powerful spirits. Wang Li almost laughed out loud. The life-nature blue silvergrass had veered from its original path and taken on a foreign attribute. No wonder it later proved problematic. Whether the blue-silver king or the sea god, they must have worked hard to suppress the corrupted attributes Tang-san had added. But impurity meant limits. Wang Li's eyes flicked to Yu Xiaogang, who stood with his hands behind his back, a look of pride on his face. Yu Xiaogang was clearly pleased to see his theories confirmed through Tang-san. Wang Li smiled and praised loudly. Truly worthy of being a grandmaster. These counterintuitive ideas can make a trash spirit like blue silvergrass rival top-tier spirits. It's astonishing. Yu Xiaogang regarded Wang Li with newfound favor, thinking to himself that Wang Li too had worked on his blue silvergrass. Perhaps he might take the man's grass under his wing later. Still, he thought, it wouldn't match Tang-san's potential. With Tang-san's twin spirit talent fully exploited, he could reach the spirit Douluo realm, even the titled Douluo, and become the strongest on the continent in short order. Wang Li couldn't hear those thoughts, nor would he have approved. He only wanted Yu Xiaogang to continue steering Tang-san. The spider leg-like blue silver grass was strong in its way, but its original life attribute had been muddled and suppressed. That would make Tang-san's future breakthroughs to Spirit King or Spirit Emperor much harder unless external help intervened. Wang Li continued, I understand your situation. You're all geniuses, but with less than 3 months until the Grand Soul Master Tournament, you can't improve dramatically overnight. I'm here to exchange experiences, but these methods aren't for everyone. I grew fast under my grandfather, a titled Douluo. More battles and more pressure brought me all-around improvement. He looked at Dean Flender, Vice Dean Liu Erlong, and Teacher Zhao Wuji nearby and smiled. You already have powerful people around you. If your teachers sparred with you, even in 3 months, you'd improve a lot. Elephant Armored Academy has extreme defense. Blazing Academy and Thunderclap Academy have explosive offense. Tianshui and Godwind are tough to deal with in their own ways, but none of them are as strong as your teachers. Taking more beatings in peacetime means fewer surprises in wartime. Just my personal view, may not suit everyone. Flender, Liu Erlong, and Zhao Wuji looked thoughtful, especially Liu Erlong. She loved a good fight and wouldn't mind sparring with the Shrek 7 Devils over the next 3 months. Yu Xiaogang reflected seriously. As a 29th level Spirit Grandmaster, no matter how he coached the Shrek 7 Devils, he couldn't fully emulate the pressure exerted by a truly formidable opponent. That pressure, constant, real combat stress, could explain Wang Li's rapid rise. If it worked for Wang Li, it could work for the 7 Devils. They hadn't realized that. After Wang Li finished, the group's expressions shifted. Ma Hongjun grinned and teased. Wang Li, you're friends with Little San and Xiao Wu. I am too. That makes us friends, right? Give your brother a tip. How did you win over a titled Douluo's granddaughter and become a titled Douluo's grandson-in-law? Wang Li sized him up, then stepped close, spreading his hands. Isn't it obvious? Be tall enough, good-looking enough, sincere enough. First, lose some weight and stop leering around. Do you really think a girl falls for fat and unserious? Ma Hongjun clutched his chest theatrically and staggered back. Ouch! That hurts, man. Do you have to be so blunt? Everyone laughed. Oscar chimed in. Fatty, you should really restrain yourself. Wang Li, I'm just like you, tall, handsome, and sincere. Right, Rongrong? Ning Rongrong turned her face away. She had to admit Oscar wasn't wrong. He was tall and sincere, but sect rules prevented her from accepting his feelings. Wang Li watched the scene and smirked. Good luck. Rongrong's father is the sect master of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School. That school has two titled Douluo. If you make it, with two titled Douluo pushing you, you'll grow twice as fast. Even with a sausage spirit, they could turn you from a support spirit master into a combat spirit master. Consider yourself warned. Oscar's eyes widened. It can't be that bad, right? They wouldn't be so ruthless. Ning Rongrong shot Wang Li a look. He's right. Know when to step back, or Grandpa Sword and Grandpa Bone will make you into a fighting spirit master. Wang Li! Zhuzu King's sudden call turned Wang Li. She inclined her head slightly, sincere. I wish your Heaven Do first team sweeps through the finals and wins the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master competition. As a member of the Zhu family from Star Luo, she was the one most inclined to hope Star Luo first team's defeat. The loss of Dai Weici and Zhu Zhuyun would upset the family, possibly giving her room to grow. Wang Li paused, then smiled nonchalantly. He wasn't overconfident and didn't take it as a signal. Given Zhu Zuqing's status, he had guesses, but he replied lightly, "Thank you for the blessing. But our Heaven Do first team's only real rival is the Spirit Hall team. The others, even Star Luo first team, can be handled." Daimubai followed the exchange and felt unexpectedly pleased. If his brother wasn't confirmed as Crown Prince quickly, Dai would have a little more freedom. Wang Li's ease around the Shrek Seven Devils let him integrate smoothly. He had more reason now to keep an eye on them. Flender watched everything, satisfied. Excellent. The Academy kids have befriended someone powerful and well-connected. They'll have fewer enemies in the Spirit Master world. Lunch, Flender said with a smile. Wang Li, come try our cafeteria. Second floor has a variety of dishes. Wang Li agreed. He hadn't come to eat, but the cafeteria would do. I won't be formal. Thanks, Dean Flender. He followed the Seven Devils to the cafeteria with Flender. The food was ordinary meat and vegetables, but well cooked, and the atmosphere, aided by Flender's smooth talk, was very pleasant. By afternoon, Wang Li took his leave. Flender saw him to the gate and told the guards to let him in directly if he came back. Wang Li promised, I'll drop by when I have time. Flender was thrilled, thinking he'd grown close to Wang Li, unaware that was precisely what Wang Li wanted. As Wang Li left, he thought, this trip has been fruitful. Once Wang Li was gone, Yu Xiaogang called Tang San, who'd been a bit distracted. Little San, come with me for a moment. Tang San straightened. Yes, Grandmaster. In a private room, Yu Xiaogang looked at his disciple meaningfully. Little San, I know what you're thinking. You feel that despite all your effort, you're still not as good as Wang Li. Tang San opened his mouth but could find no words. Grandmaster, I've failed your teachings. Yu Xiaogang sighed. You haven't failed. Your blue-silver grass, though a trash spirit, you've used it to rival top-tier spirits, but its innate limitations cap how far it can go. If you continue to absorb strong spirit rings in the future, it can be enhanced further. The biggest gap between you and Wang Li is guidance from a titled Douluo. That's something I can't give you. A titled Douluo can point out the clearest path. But don't worry, your background isn't weaker than his. If anything, it's greater. It's time I tell you some secrets. Tang San's heart raced. He felt thirsty and stunned. Grandmaster, what are you saying? What background do I have? Yu Xiaogang lifted his chin. I recognized your twin spirits from the start. One was the trash blue-silver grass. I recognized the other spirit too, but didn't tell you its name before. Now I will. It's called the Clear Sky Hammer, the spirit born by direct disciples of the Clear Sky sect, which used to head the 7 great sects. It's the #1 attack-type tool spirit in the world. You said your father's name is Tang Hao, the most outstanding disciple of the Clear Sky sect. The youngest titled Douluo on the continent was also Tang Hao, titled Clear Sky. Tang San felt dizzy under the flood of revelation. If my father is a titled Douluo, if my sect is the Clear Sky sect, the head of the 7 great sects, then how could I? Yu Xiaogang explained slowly. What happened back then is complicated. Even I don't know the full story. I only know the Clear Sky sect's withdrawal and your father's disappearance are linked to the Spirit Hall. They were fighting over a great treasure. Your father won, but not without consequence. He killed the previous Supreme Pontiff of the Spirit Hall, which brought retaliation. That's why you were born a commoner. Otherwise, you should have the highest status on the continent. Now you understand your father's power and the danger he faced. Tang San nodded, rage pooling in him, not at Tang Hao nor the Clear Sky sect, but at the Spirit Hall. If not for them, he would be a titled Douluo's son, a direct disciple of Clear Sky. Those things were rightfully his. He felt determined and furious. Suddenly he asked, "Grandmaster, what about my mother?" Yu Xiaogong shook his head. "That I don't know. In fact, I shouldn't have told you about your father and your sect so early. You don't yet have the strength to investigate or avenge the previous generation. But you seem troubled, so I told you what I know. Train hard. Even though your blue-silver grass is a trash spirit, the Clear Sky Hammer is a genuine, top-tier spirit. You've already used a trash spirit to reach near-top strength. When you have a solid foundation, your second spirit, the Clear Sky Hammer, could attach a 10,000-year spirit ring as its first. It could even obtain 9 10,000-year spirit rings in total. At that point, you'll see your true power. All the grievances of the previous generation can be overturned with a single hammer blow." Tang San nodded firmly. His doubts evaporated. Knowing he was a disciple of the Clear Sky sect, the son of a titled Douluo and a twin spirit user, his confidence returned. He might have been born a commoner thanks to the Spirit Hall, but that only made him more determined. He felt himself ready again. When Wang Li returned home, he found that Shui Xing had come by again, bearing a pile of lavish gifts, each one expensive. Dugubo had spent 150,000 gold coins on the crystal blood dragon ginseng before, but the combined value of Shui Xing's presence was certainly more than that. Shui Xing was clearly pulling out all the stops to win Dugubo's favor. Wang Li only shook his head and ignored him. For the next few days, Wang Li stopped wandering aimlessly. He buried himself in cultivation and spent his spare time gathering information on spirit beasts suitable for his 6th spirit ring. There was a thorny problem. Animal spirit beasts older than 50,000 years were rare, and plant spirit beasts were an even rarer subset. He could only choose a few candidates as backups, so he wouldn't be at a loss when the time came. 4 or 5 days later, Shui Xing didn't show up, but Shui Qinghe did, at the Dugu family's gate. Since the Crown Prince was visiting, Wang Li and Duguyan personally came out to greet him. They couldn't afford to be discourteous. "Your Royal Highness, the Crown Prince," they called. Shui Qinghe waved off the formality with a gentle smile. "No need for that. I would have visited sooner if I hadn't been so busy. Brother Wang Li, Miss Dugu, it's been more than a year. I brought you a few gifts." Wang Li smiled and led the way in. "Thank you, Your Royal Highness. Please come in." Inside the mansion, Shui Qinghe looked around before asking, "Is Your Grace Bi Lin at home today?" Duguyan frowned slightly, then replied, "Your Royal Highness, my grandfather is at home, but he prefers peace and quiet. I hope you'll forgive him." Shui Qinghe waved it off. "That's fine. My main purpose today is to see the two of you. I've heard that over the past year both of you have advanced to the Spirit King realm." Wang Li nodded as he walked. "That's true. As spirit masters, cultivation comes first. After what happened with Bishop Solace, we trained even harder, so our breakthrough went smoothly." Shui Qinghe's expression showed surprise, but inside she was thinking differently. Shui Qinghe was actually Qian Renshui. Years undercover in the Heaven Dew Empire had forced her to cultivate cautiously, which slowed her progress despite excellent innate talent. She had still outpaced most of her peers, but seeing Wang Li and Duguyan now, she felt a jolt of disquiet. Duguyan's talent was on par with the Golden Generation. Wang Li's was comparable to her own level 20 innate spirit power. Qian Renshui's pride stung. Had the sacrifices she made and the caution she kept been worth it? For a moment, her grand ambitions felt as insubstantial as clouds. They sat in the main hall, Shui Qinghe on the left, Wang Li and Duguyan on the right, leaving the main seat empty out of propriety. Servants brought tea and snacks, then withdrew quietly. "You once said you hoped we could defeat Spirit Hall's Golden Generation and restore Heaven Dou's prestige," Wang Li said. "Now we can confidently tell you we'll defeat them and make sure the championship returns to Heaven Dou." Shui Qinghe had indeed said that before, originally motivated by a desire to spite the Supreme Pontiff. But now, faced with the reality of Wang Li and Duguyan's talent, the idea no longer felt like mere posturing. She smiled softly. Excellent. I believe with the two of you, the victory will belong to Heaven Do. When you return as champions, it will be time for you to graduate. After you graduate, would you be willing to serve the Empire as guest elders or revered consultants? The Crown Prince asked. Wang Li considered the offer, then answered carefully, Your Royal Highness, serving Heaven Do is an honor we would gladly accept in principle, but we're still very young. This is the best time for cultivation. We want to seize it, train hard, and travel for a while, try to break through to even higher realms. His reply neither accepted nor refused. The reason, devoting time to cultivation, was sound. Shi Qinghe nodded. You're right. You're still young and should spend more time on cultivation. Then she stood, produced a gold medallion from the spirit tool on his hand, and placed it on the table. One side read, Heaven Do, the other, Qinghe. This is my personal token, Shi Qinghe said. It doesn't mean much by itself, but if you ever run into trouble or need assistance, present this token. Guest elders, revered consultants, governors, and city lords of Heaven Do will generally be willing to help you. Take it. Wang Li rose, took the token with both hands, and said gratefully, Thank you, Your Royal Highness. You helped me out of a difficult spot before, and now you give me this token. I appreciate it. Shi Qinghe's smile deepened. Wang Li hadn't pledged himself to the Crown Prince, but that wasn't necessary. He would be valuable in any faction, and someday Shi Qinghe expected to bring him into his circle. After a few more polite words and an invitation to visit the Crown Prince's mansion, Wang Li demurred. Next time, he said, I need to keep cultivating, make a final push for the Grand Soul Master tournament. It was a reasonable excuse, and Shi Qinghe accepted it. When the Crown Prince left, Duguyan frowned. Xiao Li, you accepted his token. Are you planning to pledge allegiance? Isn't that a bit hasty? Wang Li put the medallion away with a smile. Accepting the Crown Prince's token doesn't mean I've pledged allegiance. It's a courtesy. To refuse might be rude. Let's just keep it for now. After the Grand Soul Master tournament, we'll keep cultivating for a while, then travel the continent. This time, we won't go to desolate mountains and forgotten woods, he continued. We'll go where it's prosperous and lively, just you and me. As long as nothing major happens, we'll enjoy ourselves. Du Guyan smiled, linked her arm with his, and said softly, I'll go where you want. Wang Li reflected on the meeting. He knew Shi Qinghe was Qian Renshui, and Qian Renshui was Shi Qinghe. When offered a sugar-coated trap, he'd take the sweetness and discard the trap, gratitude without obligation. In the end, power was what mattered most. Over the next 3 months, Wang Li trained diligently. As the Grand Soul Master tournament drew near, he pushed his spirit power from level 58 to level 59. After the tournament, he planned to set out and search for the spirit beast he needed for his 6th ring. Thanks to book friend 2880912190011 for the 100 Qidian coin reward. 123, I'll give you a chance to lose at my hands. The All-Continent Advanced Soul Master competition was a spectacle whenever it was held, and as soon as it opened, turned into a carnival. Crowds poured in from across the continent to watch spirit masters clash. The Grand Soul Master tournament was split into preliminaries, promotion rounds, and the finals. The preliminaries took place in the Heaven Do Great Spirit Arena, which had been closed for a month to renovate and expand into the venue in use today. Nearly 5,000 guards kept order inside and outside the arena, but that did little to dull the excitement. 2 carriages bearing the Heaven Do Royal Academy emblem pulled up to the entrance. The first and second teams of Heaven Do Royal Academy stepped down in similar light gold uniforms, the left chest embroidered with Heaven Do and 7 stars on the back. The first team wore formal, eye-catching robes and cloaks. The second team wore practical combat suits built for mobility. The Academy's 3 teachers, Meng Shenji, Bai Baoshan, and Ji Lin, appeared in solemn black robes trimmed with gold. All right, children. Today, the Grand Soul Master tournament begins. Emperor Shuye will be present. Do your best, Meng Shenji said with a smile. The 3 of us will go to the VIP section to accompany His Majesty. You'll follow Teacher Qin to the waiting area. Yes, the 2 teams replied. Meng Shenji hesitated a moment when his eyes fell on Wang Li and Du Guyan, then said nothing more. There was little encouragement that could match the weight of their reputations, and left for the VIP section with Bai Baoshan and Ji Lin. Qin Ming, slightly awkward, stepped forward. "Follow me," he said. The two Heaven Do teams filed in behind Qin Ming and were met by roaring cheers. The royal teams always drew the largest crowds in the Heaven Do Empire. Today, with Emperor Shuiye present, absence was not an option. The teams passed through the dim tunnel and were suddenly blasted by bright lights and thunderous applause as they entered the arena. The commentator's voice boomed. Appearing now, Heaven Do Royal Academy's first and second teams. Their slogan, "Victory for Heaven Do, the championship for Heaven Do." Although the first team has a bye to the finals, the second team will be competing in the upcoming matches. Let's look forward to their performance. They reached the royal team's private resting and viewing area while the VIP section filled. In the front row sat Emperor Shuiye himself in a crimson gold robe and a golden crown, regal and immovable. To his left was Du Bo. Beside Du Bo sat Platinum Bishop Salas, who visibly shrank beneath Du Bo's cold glances. Du Bo, once the weakest titled Douluo, was no longer to be underestimated. He was now a figure capable of confronting great power. To the emperor's right sat Ning Fengji, sect master of the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, and Bondulo Gu Rong, one of the school's high priests. The three teachers and Prince Shuixing occupied the second and third rows. Emperor Shuiye smiled as the Heaven Do teams found their seats. "The talents you fostered, your grace Bilin, are exceptional. It seems the Heaven Do royal team may have a real chance against the Star Luo royal team and even Spirit Hall in this tournament." Du Bo shrugged. "Your Majesty flatters them. They have worked hard. My part was only facilitation. If anyone resorts to foul play in this tournament, I will accompany them and see justice done." Ning Fengji added with the gravitas of a veteran, "This is a stage for young geniuses. Any improper interference will draw the wrath of all true spirit masters." Emperor Shuiye nodded and looked to Salas. Salas, forced into a public stance against Spirit Hall's possible misdeeds, affirmed gravely, "The Grand Soul Master Tournament demands fairness. Should any organization interfere, Spirit Hall will act." Teams continued to file into the arena. The Shrek Academy team arrived last in garish green uniforms that bred instant ridicule from the crowd. The Shrek Seven Devils blushed. It was obvious their coach had found another way to monetize the spectacle. Flender's thrift had no bounds. Once every team was in, Emperor Shuiye stood and solemnly declared the tournament open to thunderous cheers. Schoolmaster Ning gave a rousing speech, then Platinum Bishop Salas drew lots to determine first-round pairings. The draw produced an uproar, Shrek Academy versus Heaven Do Royal Second Team. Many spectators considered such a match a waste. No one wanted clownish antics at a high-level tournament. Salas had to firmly insist the draw was fair before the crowd quieted. In the Heaven Do resting area, Yu Tianheng frowned. "Shrek? That's Teacher Qin's old academy." Qin Ming nodded and turned to the second team. "Don't underestimate them. Fight as you should. Don't waste the 5 years you've trained." The second team exchanged looks. They weren't the first team's caliber, but they answered solemnly, "Yes." Wang Li scanned the Shrek lineup. Dai Mubai, Oscar, Tang San, Ma Hongjun, Juju King, a tall, thin youth, and a fuller young woman. Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong were conspicuously absent. Clearly they were holding back some strength. Despite Shrek being officially only a second-rate team, their two spirit ancestors, Dai Mubai and Tang San, made the crowd fall silent for a moment when spirits were summoned. The Shrek Seven Devils fielded 2 spirit ancestors and 5 spirit elders, while Heaven Do's second team had 7 spirit elders. Spirit rings were not lies. The match lasted under 15 minutes and ended with Shrek victorious. After the day's matches concluded, the Heaven Do teams were leaving when the 5-element academies blocked their way in the contestants' passage. The 5-element teams, Blazing, Thunderclap, Tianshui, Godwind, Elephant Armor, each had their own reputation, and many had long looked down on Heaven Do as spoiled nobles. This year, however, they watched the royal teams with a new scrutiny. Yu Tianheng spotted Yu Tianxin, his cousin and captain of the Thunderclap Academy team, direct descendants of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan and natural rivals. The captain's voice was cool. "Blocking our way. Are you trying to provoke us?" A tall, statuesque woman from Blazing Academy stepped forward. Red hair, flame-colored robes, She stood nearly 1.8 meters high and radiated confidence. "Not provocation," she said loudly. "We just came to see our future opponents. I heard Heaven Do has produced geniuses this year. There's even a 12-year-old spirit ancestor. I want to see how strong he really is." Wang Li smiled and stepped forward. "You'll find out when the finals come." Then he added, blunt and calm, "Make sure you don't get knocked out in the preliminaries. If you never make the finals, you won't get the chance. When you do get to the finals, I'll give you a chance to lose to me." It was a brash taunt, and it hit the five-element group like a slap. Their hostile gazes hardened. Wang Li raised one eyebrow and applied a light mental force combined with the divine aura of the penetrating autumn water dew, an effect that made him seem to look straight through people. Under that gaze, they all felt exposed, as if he could see their innermost thoughts. Instinctively, they took a step back and cleared a path. "Let's go," Wang Li said, and the Heaven Do first and second teams strode past. The blazing girl, Huo Wu, chased after them 2 paces, scowling. "Arrogant brat. I'm Huo Wu of Blazing Academy. I'll beat you for sure." Wang Li's voice floated back, cool and uninterested. "I'm not interested in the names of future losers." Huo Wu's cheeks flushed. She clenched her fists. "Arrogant." Feng Xiaoqian, captain of Godwind Academy, swaggered up. "Huo Wu, I'll help you beat him. Then he'll apologize and remember your name." Huo Wu barely concealed her disgust at Feng Xiaotan's familiarity. She snapped, "I don't need your help. I'll beat him myself. That's the only thing worth it." Elsewhere, Yu Tianxin of Thunderclap Academy, Shui Binger of Tianshui, and Hu Yanli of Elephant Armor all felt a pressing chill from Wang Li's stare. They realized that Heaven Do Royal Academy really might have produced a terrifying new talent this year. 124. The next opponent, Kang Hui. Inside the passage, Yu Feng said casually, "These people from the Five-Element Academy really don't take us seriously. How many spirit ancestors do they even have? If we weren't hiding our strength, just showing our spirit rings would scare them to death." Yu Feng's words found agreement from the rest of the team. Even without Wang Li and Du Guyan, they were a top-tier squad. With Wang Li and Du Guyan included, they would be unbeatable. The image of Wang Li and Du Guyan effortlessly defeating 6 opponents was still fresh in their minds. At that moment, Yu Tianheng spoke up. "If we ever run into Thunderclap Academy, I'll handle their captain, Yu Tianxin. There's rivalry even among the disciples of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan." Though he spoke to everyone, Yu Tianheng was really addressing Wang Li and Du Guyan. As captain, he still needed their agreement on major decisions. Wang Li and Du Guyan weren't necessarily eager to fight a spirit ancestor, so Wang Li simply nodded. "Of course, if we meet Thunderclap Academy, we'll make an opening for you to have a one-on-one." Yu Tianheng fell silent again. Already a man of few words, he grew even more reserved. When they walked out of the Heaven Do Great Spirit Arena, the carriage was waiting at the exit. Just then, Wang Li noticed the Shrek 7 Devils, along with Ning Fengji and Bone Douluo. Ning Fengji looked over, and his eyes lit up. "Defeating the Heaven Do second team isn't something to gloat about," Ning Fengji said to the Shrek 7 Devils. "The Heaven Do first team is full of heavy hitters. Let me introduce you to a super genius. He's a member of the Heaven Do first team. For your level, his strength is practically unfathomable." Ning Rongrong hesitated. "Dad, are you talking about Wang Li?" "You know him?" Ning Fengji asked in surprise. "He was my third brother's classmate at the Junior Spirit Master Academy," Ning Rongrong explained. "His teacher graduated from our Shrek Academy too. Not long ago, he even visited and exchanged cultivation experiences with us." "I see," Ning Fengji said happily. "So you already know each other. Young people have more in common. Get along well. I'll go say hello." After speaking, Ning Fengji and Bone Douluo walked toward the Heaven Do Royal Academy. Ning Rongrong pouted, displeased at being left behind. "Don't mind him. My dad's always like that. After the Grand Soul Master Tournament ends, I'll take you all to my house to play." Tang San frowned. "It's okay, Rongrong. Let's hurry back to the academy. Xiao Wu tried to force a breakthrough earlier and failed. I don't know if her body has recovered yet." Everyone showed concern and swiftly left, hurrying back to the academy. Meanwhile, Ning Fengji had already approached them. "Hello, everyone. I'm Ning Fengji. Wang Li. My daughter told me you visited our academy and exchanged cultivation experiences with them. As a father, I'm truly grateful." Surprised but respectful, they all replied, "Sect Master Ning." Wang Li smiled. "Sect Master Ning, there's no need. I didn't even know your daughter was at Shrek Academy. At the time, I was just visiting a classmate from the Junior Spirit Master Academy. As for exchanging experiences, it was only my personal opinion. I can't say it applies to everyone. And the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School helped me with the Spirit Hall Platinum Bishop incident before. That's what I'm really grateful for." Wang Li, having risen from humble beginnings, knew how to phrase things to avoid enemies and trouble. Ning Fengji's smile widened. "I can't stand Spirit Hall's arrogance, and I admire you. Come to the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School sometime. Since you're my daughter's friend, don't call me Sect Master Ning, call me Uncle Ning." Wang Li replied naturally, "All right, Uncle Ning. With the Grand Soul Master Tournament starting, I won't have much free time, but I'll definitely come when I can." After Ning Fengji and Bone Douluo left, Wang Li smiled at the stunned crowd. "Let's go too. We'll come back tomorrow. They're all powerful younger generation spirit masters. Watching their matches will be good for us." "Okay," everyone agreed. The next day, the Great Spirit Arena had been expanded. In addition to the main arena, 5 more arenas had been set up, so 6 matches could be held simultaneously. For Wang Li, most matches were routine. What interested him most was the Shrek team's fights, and when they would finally meet Kanghui Academy. Today, Shrek's opponent was the Elephant Armored Academy, one of the 5 Element Academies. The representatives were all direct descendants of the Elephant Armored line, bonded to the Diamond Mammoth spirit with incredible defensive strength. Their lineup, 3 spirit ancestors and 4 spirit elders, placed them firmly among first-tier teams. Shrek fielded essentially the same 7 who had fought the day before, with Ning Rongrong replacing the curvy girl. Xiao Wu was absent. Aside from her, all of the Shrek 7 devils took the field. As the match began, both sides summoned their spirits. The 7 members of the Elephant Armored Academy transformed into 2-meter-tall little giants, muscles bulging and skin as thick as armor. With only 2 spirit ancestors on Shrek's side, it looked like a mismatch. How Shrek would respond made even Wang Li curious. Before the battle truly erupted, wings sprouted from the backs of the Shrek 7 devils, and they rose into the air. Oscar and Ning Rongrong provided support, one with various sausages, the other with enhancement buffs, so the other 5 could fight at full strength. Dai Mubai and Juju King fused their souls with their Wu Hun skill to form the Hell White Tiger for offense. Ma Hongjun and a tall, thin young man provided side support. Tang San employed his 4th spirit ability, shaping his blue-silver grass into spider-like legs. Even so, the blue-silver grass legs, all barbs and thorns, couldn't pierce the Diamond Mammoth's defenses. Tang San had no choice but to go in personally. He combined his 8 spider lances with the blue-silver grass and, under the Hell White Tiger's cover, managed to pierce the mammoth armor one by one, injecting poison into the bodies beneath. The Hell White Tiger took massive punishment and disintegrated. Dai Mubai and Juju King were grievously wounded and knocked unconscious. Ma Hongjun and the other support also became targets and were soon badly injured and collapsed. Ning Rongrong voluntarily left the arena, and Oscar, after handing his last flying mushroom sausage to Tang San, withdrew as well. Tang San held on despite everything. The Elephant Armored Academy team's members were poisoned, and by sheer endurance, Tang San secured a narrow victory. They had used all their trump cards, but they still won, defeating the Elephant Armored Academy, one of the 5 Element Academies. Their next opponent would be none other than Kanghui Academy. Wang Li knew it would be his turn to show up, to support the Shrek 7 devils as a friend, and to wait for Shi Nian, who could appear at any moment. Shrek Academy had won, but the mood in their area was far from celebratory. Ning Rongrong and Oscar were spent, only their spirit power was exhausted, not a serious matter, but Dai Mubai, Juju King, Ma Hongjun, and the others were badly hurt. They hadn't taken immortal herbs to strengthen their bodies, and without superior spirit power, they had come up against Elephant Armor Academy head-on. The result was obvious. When Wang Li arrived, he found the young woman with the healing scepter, Jiang Ju, doing her best to patch everyone up, But as a spirit elder with only 3 spirit rings, she was clearly straining. Winning against Elephant Armor Academy without a spirit ancestor is something, Wang Li said. Everyone glanced at him, then looked away. Oscar's face was pale. He bowed his head. What's the use? We're all injured, some of us crippled. I'm afraid we'll have to forfeit the next matches. Wang Li stepped closer, studying the range of injuries. He smiled and said, Miss, please step aside a moment and let me try. After all, we're friends. Jiangju blinked, then moved aside. Under puzzled eyes, Wang Li put his right hand palm down and blue-silver grass shot up from the ground, its branches precisely fastening around the injured students. Blue filaments of qi ran along the grass into their bodies. Those who had been unconscious or weak revived almost instantly. Broken bones knitted, torn muscles repaired, internal and external wounds healed with astonishing speed. Jiangju cried out in disbelief. They're completely healed. What kind of healing technique is this? Flender, Liu Erlong, Zhao Wuji, and the others stared at the students' recovery and then at Wang Li, excitement and shock on their faces. Yu Xiaogang's expression was one of stunned disbelief. It was Wang Li's blue-silver grass spirit, but how could a grass spirit have such potent healing power? Tang San watched the blue currents with a growing hunger. If he could devour that energy, he thought, it would boost him even more than devouring spirit beasts. His eyes darkened with a flash of blood-red longing. After a moment, Wang Li retracted the branches and exhaled. Eat nutritious food and rest. That'll help you recover faster. That's all I can do. Healing the physical injuries was generous enough. Wang Li wouldn't go so far as to remove lingering negative states. Dai Mubai, Juju King, and Ma Hongjun woke slowly. They still looked tired, but their wounds were essentially gone. Ma Hongjun, still dazed, said, What was that? I felt warmth everywhere, and now I'm fine. Dai Mubai and Juju King agreed. Flender, all eagerness, said, Why aren't you thanking him? It's all thanks to Wang Li you recovered. Thank you, they said together. Wang Li waved them off with a faint smile. We're friends. No need to be formal. Be careful in future matches. If you can fight, fight. If not, forfeit. You've just recovered and still need time. Flender nodded eagerly. Yes, we'll be careful. Wang Li, thank you. If Shrek ever needs help, we won't hesitate. Wang Li smiled without answering. He wanted the mysterious heaven treasure record in Tang San's mind. Tang San wouldn't hand it over, so Wang Li planned to take it. Just then, a tournament staffer arrived briskly. Leader of the Shrek team, the leader of Elephant Armor Academy, has accused your team of malicious injury. Their members are weakened and may not be able to continue. They demand your qualification be revoked. We need you to come and explain. Liu Erlong's temper flared immediately. Revoke our qualification? We fought fairly. If you lose, you lose. If you want to fight us, then fight. Flender pulled her back, but his mind was already working. He adopted an indignant expression and shot back. Accuse us of malicious injury. I'll accuse them. Look at the state our students are in, beaten up. Even with a healer, they're not fully recovered. How can we be expected to continue? Erlong, Xiaogang, come with me and see how this should be settled. Yu Xiaogang understood the plan and turned to Tang San. Little San, go back to the academy and leave this to us. You were the key factor in the serious injuries of the Elephant Armor team. It's better if you don't show yourself now. Mubai, Juking, Hongjun, stay to explain. Tang San nodded. Okay, teacher. Wang Li took his chance. I'll leave first as well. Oh, Tang San, where's Xiao Wu? Did she not compete? Tang San suppressed the turmoil in his chest and answered cautiously. Xiao Wu tried to break through earlier but failed and hurt herself. She hasn't recovered yet. Wang Li's eyes brightened. Perhaps she was too anxious. Cultivation must be gradual. I'll come with you and see if I can help. Thinking of the blue-silver grass's healing he had just seen, Tang San accepted. Then I'll trouble you. Wang Li escorted Tang San out of the Great Spirit Arena. Flender, Liu Erlong, and Yu Xiaogang went with the partially recovered Dai Mubai, Juju Qing, and Ma Hongjun to the organizing committee to press their case. Tang San hesitated on the walk back to Shrek Academy. He wanted to ask Wang Li about the blue currents and the healing, but he couldn't bring himself to confront someone he both admired and resented, someone tied up with the secrets of his own past. Wang Li paid no attention to Tang San's inner turmoil. He quietly scanned their surroundings, a glint in his eye. He led Tang San off the main path into the wilderness. Wang Li had taken penetrating autumn water dew and possessed a mental spirit ring and a mental spirit bone. He could disguise his spirit even to a spirit saint's illusions. He summoned his spirit, activated a domain to hide his spirit and spirit rings, then silently unleashed his fifth spirit ability. Blue-silver grass exploded outward, flowers of many colors blooming, pollen and fragrance drifting. Within the domain, nothing unusual appeared to an outsider. Hidden nearby, a gaunt old man in a white robe, sunken cheeks and hollow eyes, watched them with a sinister air. He sneered, "Genius, nothing more. Any obstacle to Kanghui Academy will be eliminated by me. Tang San of Shrek Academy, Wang Li of Heaven Do Royal Academy, you were unlucky to be so close to me. Die together." The white-robed man's smile froze. He had already fallen asleep in his own dream, wrapped in an illusion where everything was as he wished. But thick, snake-like blue-silver vines had coiled around him and tightened. The sound of bones cracking echoed as his bones and internal organs were crushed. Blood flowed from his orifices, yet a smile remained on his face. After death, a dazzling light condensed above his head into a skull that seemed to breathe. Wang Li stepped to the body, shook his head, and said, "If you hadn't been careless enough to let me pull you into an illusion, a straight fight would have been harder. But I saw through yours and used it against you. That was all I needed." He reached up and took the spirit bone that had formed above the corpse's head. It was an illusion space type spirit bone, an apparent domain skill. Wang Li already had a skull, so he tucked this one into his storage spirit tool, planning to save it for Du Guyan, even though there was a mind-condensing wisdom skull in the Grand Soul Master Tournament as well. Then he drew back all the blue-silver vines. All that remained was a twisted corpse. Every bone and organ was smashed, the eerie smile frozen on the dead face. Wang Li collected the body, checked Tang San, merely asleep, and carried him back towards Shrek Academy. Tang San felt as if he'd been in a very long dream, memories flooding back, the ghost's lament, the Tang sect, the thrill of stealing the mysterious heaven treasure record in a past life, the clarity with which he had read and carved its words. It all felt as fresh as if it had happened yesterday. At dusk, at Shrek Academy's main gate, Flender, Liu Erlong, Yu Xiaogang, Zhao Wuji, and the Shrek Seven Devils waited anxiously. When they saw Wang Li carrying Tang San, they raced forward, relief at first, then shock, grabbed Tang San and stared at Wang Li with questions. Wang Li only shook his head, his face serious. "Let's get inside." Today was dangerous. Behind the academy, after everyone had settled Tang San, Wang Li brought out the corpse from his storage spirit tool and explained, "This man lured us into the wilderness, thinking we couldn't resist, but my fifth spirit ability is a hypnotic illusion too. I pierced his illusion and dragged him into one of my own. It only lasted a few breaths, but it gave me the chance to kill him." They stared at the grisly corpse, permanently distorted and still smiling. Flender went pale and whispered the name, Shi Nian of Kanghui Academy. He was a spirit saint, and his spirit remnant dream is infamously tricky. You killed a spirit saint. A mix of awe and disbelief spread through the group. None of them had suspected the joking, easygoing Wang Li could pull off such a feat. Wang Li shrugged. "This isn't the time to argue. He was careless. If he'd gone all out from the start, I might not have had the chance. That said, I did break him free from his illusion, and Tang San, he was not injured. His breathing was steady. He should be okay." Yu Xiaogang's face remained grave. He no longer questioned Wang Li's power. His pressing concern was Tang San. Shi Nian's remnant dream spirit was bizarre and insidious. If Tang San's mind had been damaged, the consequences could have been devastating. Xiao Wu, pale from the deliberate injury she'd given herself to avoid the match, came to Tang San's bed and whispered, "Brother." The Shrek Seven Devils shouted, "Little San, third brother." Their calls roused him. Tang San sat up slowly, bewildered. Everyone cheered. Yu Xiaogang rushed to his side. "Little San, how are you?" Tang San blinked, his eyes brightening. I think I had a very long dream." He told them of the memories that had come back. His past life, stealing the mysterious heaven treasure record and finding it partial, some top-level inheritance had been hidden elsewhere. Flender, still elated, recounted Wang Li's intervention and added, "We won't let this go." With Shi Nian's corpse, we'll go to the organizing committee and demand Konghui Academy be expelled from the Grand Soul Master Tournament. That'll free us from competing tomorrow and give everyone a day to recuperate. Tang San looked at Wang Li with gratitude. Thank you. Wang Li smiled lightly. He had already gotten what he wanted and had sealed off part of the inheritance. He decided Shi Nian's skull, an illusion space spirit bone, would likely be more useful to Douluo Yan than the skull he'd taken at the Grand Soul Master Tournament, so he put it away for future use. 126. Various gains. When Wang Li left, he had taken Shi Nian's spirit bone, and the Shrek Academy group had solemnly seen him off at the school gate. He disguised himself perfectly. His demeanor and outward image were so positive that no one considered him an enemy. To them, he was simply a close friend. Back home, Douluo Yan was overjoyed to see him but scolded him lightly. What kept you so late today? If you hadn't come back soon, I would have dragged Grandpa out to look for you. Wang Li gave a small smile at her words and said mysteriously, It's good news. Let's go see Grandpa first. He pulled Douluo Yan inside. Her curiosity was piqued. In the main hall, Douluo sat in the main seat and smiled when he saw them. Yan Yan, see? I told you, what could happen to Xiao Li in Heavendo City? He's back now, isn't he? Once they were alone in the room, Wang Li took Shi Nian's head spirit bone out of his spirit tool. Grandpa, Yan Yan, look. A faintly glowing head spirit bone floated in Wang Li's hand. Douluo and Douluo Yan stared at it in stunned silence. Wang Li explained, This is a gem-type head spirit bone. It's best suited to auxiliary spirit masters or illusion-type spirit masters. For now, it should be kept as Yan Yan's backup spirit bone. Don't absorb it yet. After the Grand Soul Master Tournament, if we find something more suitable, use that. If not, then you can absorb this. Douluo Yan tried hard to tear her gaze away from the spirit bone and looked at Wang Li, deeply moved. Xiao Li. Douluo remained composed but asked in a low voice, Xiao Li, spirit bones are absolute treasures for spirit masters. Where did you get this head spirit bone? Wang Li told them what had happened, omitting his deliberate calculations, and finished with a smile. This came from Shi Nian of Konghui Academy. Like I said, it's a gem-type head spirit bone leaning toward illusion-type affinity, but it's not a perfect match for Yan Yan. Keep it for now, Grandpa. If nothing better turns up, then let Yan Yan absorb it later. As Douluo reached out to take the spirit bone, an instant of killing intent flashed through him. That Konghui Academy, damn them, he growled. That Shi Nian who didn't know his place. If he weren't already dead, I'd make him wish he were. Douluo Yan squeezed Wang Li's hand tightly, as if afraid she'd never get to hold it again. Wang Li only smiled calmly. He had complete confidence, otherwise he wouldn't have risked himself. Maybe he thought he could leave no trace behind because of his strength, but in the end he lost his life and dropped a spirit bone for me. And I gained something else besides. Wang Li began to recite, slowly and clearly, a long passage of the mysterious heavens skill. Douluo frowned as he listened, then relaxed. When Wang Li finished, Douluo's face showed pleasant surprise. This cultivation method, its depth far surpasses our family's inherited method. There's a lot here we could learn from. If we could integrate it with our family's technique, our meditation method could advance significantly. Douluo had already formed an insight. The mysterious heaven skill was balanced and tranquil by nature. It cultivated pure, abundant spirit power that circulated quickly and lingered longer. If merged with the family's inheritance, the circulation of spirit power would become continuous, like a snake biting its tail, endlessly flowing for both cultivation and combat. Wang Li tapped the spot between his eyebrows and added, That's not all, Grandpa. I nearly forgot to mention my head spirit bone technique. It's not usable in direct combat, but it does have its uses. He then looked at Douluo Yan again. Yan Yan, I also obtained a legacy on poisons. Once I organize it into a proper book, with your Douluo family's poison legacy, the Breaking Clan's poison legacy, and this new poison legacy combined, you'll be guaranteed to become one of the top grandmasters of poison on the continent. Douluo Yan smiled softly and poked Wang Li's forehead with a worried, reproachful tone. I don't care about being a top grandmaster of poison. I just want you safe. Don't go running around now. The Grand Soul Master Tournament is full of all kinds of people. No one can guarantee something like today won't happen again. Today it was a Shi Nian. Tomorrow it could be a Zhao Nian or a Zhou Nian. Wang Li felt warmth rise in his chest. Having obtained what he came for, he no longer wanted to return to Shrek Academy to fool around with the seven devils. He smiled and promised, all right, I won't go gallivanting around anymore." Douluo put the spirit bone away, looked at the two of them, and smiled from the heart. His two greatest wishes now were for his Bilin snake to rise to the level of Bilin snake ancestor, and for Wang Li and Dugu Yan to truly grow up. Beyond that, he had nothing else to pursue. Wang Li had indeed gained a lot this time. Besides Shi Nian's head spirit bone, he had secured Tang San's mysterious heaven treasure record. Apart from the mysterious heaven skill, the record contained the mysterious jade hand, controlling crane catching dragon, ghost shadow perplexing track, purple demon eye, hidden weapons, and a vast amount of supplementary knowledge, practically everything Tang San would need for growth. Wang Li found it incredible. Even as the Tang sect's core inheritance, it was overwhelmingly comprehensive. And now it belonged to him. For the moment, Wang Li had already chosen the most suitable things for Douluo and Dugu Yan, the mysterious heaven skill and the poison legacy. The other materials he would sort and compile into books so that Douluo and Dugu Yan could study them as well. As spirit masters of the Bilin lineage, both were also well suited to cultivating many of the unique arts found in the mysterious heaven treasure record. After that day, Wang Li stopped paying close attention to the Grand Soul Master Tournament preliminaries and eliminations. He had other matters to attend to. He only heard that Konghui Academy had been expelled, that Shrek Academy won by default at first, but then lost matches against Godwind Academy, Blazing Academy, Thunderclap Academy, and Tianshui Academy. Still, by eliminating Elephant Armor Academy, they managed to squeeze into the top 5. With preliminaries and eliminations over, the finals were about to begin. Thanks to book friend MomTV31 for a reward of 268 Kidian coins. South of Heaven Dew City, horses neighed and whinnied. 500 royal knights, tall, strong, and well-trained, rode under the command of Crown Prince Shui Qinghe. They were escorting 16 academy teams, including the Heaven Do first team, to Spirit City for the grand finals. The poor showing of the Heaven Do second team had not lessened the attention paid to the first team. Shui Qinghe never neglected anyone. Refined, amiable, and courteous, he won goodwill everywhere he went. Wang Li had to admit that, if he didn't know Shui Qinghe's true identity, that Crown Prince would be the perfect heir. After more than 20 days on the road, they arrived safely at Spirit City, at the border between the two empires, without any ambushes by Title Douluo or other disasters. Spirit City was controlled entirely by the Spirit Hall. Its residents were spirit masters or their families, making it the Hall's direct power base. Though not a huge population, the descendants of spirit masters were highly likely to become spirit masters themselves, ensuring a steady reserve for the Spirit Hall. The 500 royal knights camped outside the city. Shui Qinghe, representing the Heaven Do Empire, only brought a handful of personal attendants into Spirit City with the teachers and students from the 16 academies, over 500 people in total. There were no matches that day. The first order of business was lodging. In a city this large, the 16 teams from the Heaven Do Empire and the 16 from the Star Luo Empire were, suspiciously, billeted right next to each other. The Spirit Hall's intention was obvious and unkind. It was at that moment Wang Li saw Tang San again. The Shrek Academy team looked out of place in their odd costumes. Tang San, in particular, was a broken sight. Bloodshot eyes, a haggard face, utterly dejected. The preliminaries and advancement rounds over the past 2 months had destroyed his confidence. If he had thought it through, he'd remember he was only 14, almost 15, competing against prodigies in their 20s. Losing could still be honorable. But Tang San was stubborn. He blamed himself, convinced his own shortcomings had brought him here. Wang Li met his gaze. Tang San saw Wang Li in luxurious clothing, surrounded by admirers like a moon among stars, dazzling. Tang San lowered his head in shame. Jealousy and self-recrimination grew wild and uncontrollable inside him. He berated himself. Ever since I left Notting Academy, I've lived in Wang Li's shadow. What went wrong? And now I've even lost Xiao Wu. In the past 2 months, Xiao Wu had broken through to a new level of spirit power. Liu Erlong took her into the Stardew Great Forest to hunt the spirit beast needed for her fourth spirit ring. The Titan giant ape appeared, captured Xiao Wu, and she never returned. Tang San could not get over the pain of failure and loss. Seeing him like that, Wang Li felt nothing. He turned away and strode toward the Heaven Do First Team's lodgings. Inside the room, team leader Qin Ming and the 8 members were gathered. Qin Ming addressed them plainly. "The grand finals are about to start," he said. "But today and tomorrow you can rest. No matches for seeded teams. The Spirit Hall team, the Heaven Do Royal team, and the Star Luo Royal team have byes on the first day. 30 other teams will fight brutal elimination matches tomorrow. The eliminations are team-based. Winners advance, losers are out. Half the teams will be eliminated in a single day. We will start our matches the day after tomorrow, in the second round. From there, we'll narrow it down to 3 strong teams. Those 3 will fight a round-robin of one-on-one matches. The last person standing will immediately secure a spot. The remaining 2 teams will then have a team battle to determine the other advancing team. Finally, the 2 advancing teams will compete for the championship." Among the 8, Wang Li and Du Guyan were the most relaxed. Neither entertained the thought of defeat. The other 6, Yu Feng, Oslo, the Shimo brothers, Ye Lingling, and Yu Tianheng, were visibly excited. Yu Feng pumped his fist. "It's finally our turn. We've been watching the 5-Element Academy. Time for them to learn what a true top-tier team looks like." Qin Ming watched their excitement and with a wry smile said, "Tactics mean little for you lot. I only hope each of you can give your best in the arena." Wang Li spoke up smoothly. "Teacher Qin, we're 8 people. Before the final championship, Du Guyan and I will count as a single presence. One of us will appear and the others stay hidden, mostly as a deterrent. First, to conceal some of our strength. Second, to give everyone else time to demonstrate themselves." Several teammates shot grateful looks at Wang Li. Oslo and Yu Feng in particular understood that if Wang Li acted early, they'd have no chance to shine. After 5 years of training, this was their stage. Qin Ming nodded in approval. "Adopt that plan. One of you will show, one will hide. In the final match, though, you 2 will face the Spirit Hall team at full strength." The next day, the first day of competition, the square in front of the Supreme Pontiff Palace thronged with spirit masters and their families. 33 teams, excluding the Spirit Hall team, assembled and awaited the opening. Soon the atmosphere turned solemn. On the palace steps, a woman in a purple and gold gown appeared, a crown on her head, a scepter in hand, Bibi Dong, Supreme Pontiff of the Spirit Hall. Beside her were Yue Guan in white and Gui Mei in black. At her arrival, every eye fixed upon her. Excitement, fanaticism, respect, piety. Before her eventual descent into madness, she had used charm and power to control nearly all the forces of the Spirit Hall, aside from the Hall of Elders. "Your Grace, Supreme Pontiff," the crowd cried. Bibi Dong raised her hand and smiled. "No need for formalities. Thank you to the 32 elite teams from both empires for entering the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Tournament Finals. In previous Grand Soul Master tournaments, we've seen many outstanding Spirit Masters. I trust we'll see many more this time." The crowd roared. As she scanned the teams, she noted Wang Li and Du Guyan, but paid them little heed. Her gaze lingered, though. On Yu Xiaogang, complex emotions flickered across her face. For all her status as a titled Douluo, she was still human. Bibi Dong then presented the tournament prize. 3 brocade boxes flew from her spirit tool and hovered, supported by spirit power. 3 spirit bones, she announced. The mind-condensing wisdom skull, the burst incineration flame right arm bone, and the extreme speed forward wind-chasing left leg, treasures from the Spirit Hall vault. The mind-condensing wisdom skull came from a holy illusion demonic ape hunted by the previous Supreme Pontiff, a spirit beast over 50,000 years old. Gasps swept through the crowd. Spirit bones were priceless, beyond purchase. If the Supreme Pontiff herself hadn't displayed them, someone might have tried to grab them. After the display, she tucked them away and directed the non-seated team leaders to the main hall to draw lots for first-round pairings. Wang Li leaned toward Du Guyan and murmured, "That mind-condensing wisdom skull is quite good." Du Guyan nodded. They both knew it was superior to Shi Nian's illusion skull. As a control and poison spirit master, Duguyan preferred a bone that enhanced mental force to one focused on illusion. On the second day, after the draws, Qin Ming returned with their opponent. "We face Thunderclap Academy," he said. "One of the 5 Element Academy's teams. Facing them on our first match, well, serving Heaven Do on Heaven Do soil. This is interesting." Yu Tianheng tightened, then relaxed. He and his cousin, Yu Tianxin, had no intention of losing. Soon the Cardinal, acting as referee, announced, "Next match, Heaven Do Royal Team versus Thunderclap Academy Team. Both sides, take the stage." The two teams entered the 100-meter wide arena. Around them, the Douluo Royal Team and other Heaven Do academies watched intently. Even Bibi Dong glanced over with interest. "Both sides salute. Summon your spirits," the Cardinal called. When both teams bowed and called their spirits forth, the venue erupted. Thunderclap Academy fielded 3 spirit ancestors and 4 spirit elders, a solid configuration. But the Heaven Do Royal Team was on another level. Every member was above spirit ancestor, with 2 yellow rings and 2 purple rings each. Wang Li's rings, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, and a profound black ring, caused the loudest stir. In this Grand Soul Master tournament, a Spirit King had truly appeared. Dai Weishi and Zhu Juyun of the Douluo Royal Team watched with unsettled faces. Their team had aimed for second place and a shot at first. They had assumed the Heaven Do Royal Team wouldn't be a major obstacle, focusing instead on the Spirit Hall team. They hadn't expected a lineup of 6 Spirit Ancestors and a Spirit King. "Weishi," Zhu Juyun said uneasily. Dai Weishi squared his shoulders. "We'll use the Wuhan fusion technique with the power to take down a Spirit King. Observe their 6 Spirit Ancestors, their spirits and abilities. If we can hold them, we have a chance." Around the arena, Feng Xiaoqian, Huo Wu, and Huo Wu Shuang, Shui Binger, and others realized their earlier taunts had been ill-advised. In the VIP section, Bibi Dong remarked to Du Gubo, with weight, "Bi Lin, you've raised an exceptional student." Du Gubo bowed to the compliment despite his usual arrogance. "I have 1 granddaughter and 1 grandson-in-law. Of course, I cultivate them well." The match began. Wang Li stood with arms crossed, making no move, simply guarding Ye Lingling, the team's lone support spirit master. The Shimo brothers took up their Xuanwu shields, deep black and impenetrable. Lightning struck and merely rippled off. They charged like bulldozers, pushing Thunderclap Academy back. Oslo and Yu Feng, swift offensive spirit masters, formed the main assault, cooperating with the Shimo brothers to force a steady retreat. Yu Tianheng got his duel with Yu Tianxin. Both wielded the blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit. Both were 4-ring spirit ancestors, but Yu Tianheng's 2-level advantage in spirit power made the difference. Thunder rolled and lightning flashed as the two collided, producing earth-shattering impacts. In the last exchange, Yu Tianxin fell. Yu Tianheng stood victorious. "Tianheng, you won," Yu Tianxin said with a rueful smile. Yu Tianheng shook his head. "There are opponents I can't beat yet. Maybe ever. The Blue Lightning Twin Stars aren't respected by true elites. To restore the pride of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon, we still must work harder." Yu Tianxin thought of Wang Li, who had remained composed and inactive. A 5-ring Spirit King, just the thought made his heart quake. "We lost, Thunderclap lost, but I will fight back," he vowed. Despite the intensity of the battles, every pair of eyes kept drifting back to Wang Li, silent and utterly at ease. 128. Enchanting after the competition that day, everyone fixated on Wang Li, the Spirit King who had revealed himself yet made no decisive move. By the 3rd day of the tournament, the Cardinal announced loudly, "The next match, Heaven Do Royal Team versus Douluo Royal Team. Both teams take the stage." The arena exploded in cheers. As 2 seeded teams, this matchup had been highly anticipated. It promised to be spectacular. Wang Li said calmly, "Looks like I'll have to act this time. Their Wuhan fusion skill will be my responsibility. The rest of you handle the other Douluo members." Yu Tianheng's expression hardened. He had pride. He wasn't willing to be a passive beneficiary of victory. "We'll take care of it. No one will touch your match," he said firmly. Both teams ascended the stage to a deathly hush. Dai Weishi and Zhu Juyun wore stony faces. Clearly, they'd been chosen to test Wang Li's strength. There was nothing to be done about that, but it didn't mean they had no chance. Their combined Wuhan fusion skill Hell White Tiger was a killing move capable of challenging a Spirit King. Both sides, salute, summon your spirits, the cardinal ordered. They followed procedure and summoned. Dai Weixi's spirit power read 47, Zhu Juyun's 46. White and black spirit energies braided together into a vortex, and from it a hell-white tiger 9 to 10 feet tall, 7 to 8 meters long, tore out, lashing toward Wang Li as their killing move. Wang Li met it head-on, opening with his first spirit ability. The blue-silver grass that dotted the arena erupted and surged like a storm, fanged and clawing, sweeping toward the hell-white tiger. The other matches on the 100-meter-wide stage scattered to their opponents, leaving ample space for each fight. The hell-white tiger roared and pounced, claws tearing at the writhing vines. If those vines could be torn apart easily, all of Wang Li's past work would have been for nothing. But almost instantly, the tiger found itself entangled, hemmed in by the coils. Wang Li smiled faintly and activated his fourth spirit ability. Every vine pulsed with an absorption effect. The hell-white tiger's spirit power drained away rapidly. Dai Weici and Zhu Juyun's faces fell. The beast let out a pained cry. Experienced combatants, they immediately dispelled their Wuhan fusion skill and freed themselves from the vine's grip. To an outside observer, it looked absurd. The terrifying hell-white tiger had dissolved itself. But Bibi Dong, watching from the Supreme Pontiff Palace, saw the truth at once. Those vines can absorb spirit power, she mused. Tricky. No wonder Qian Renshui values this genius. Let's see what else he has. What Bibi Dong couldn't change was the arena. Here, amid raw strength and technique, fairness still held some sway. Once Dai Weici and Zhu Juyun were free, they discovered they had lost half their spirit power. Enraged, they launched long-range attacks at Wang Li's main body the instant they recovered. Dai Weixi's fourth ring flared. Fourth spirit ability, White Tiger Starfall. Zhu Juyun's fourth ring flared. Fourth spirit ability, Hell-breaking Moon Slash. To Wang Li, the Hell-White Tiger had been merely a tool. Without it, despite being spirit ancestors with top-tier spirits, Dai Weici and Zhu Jun were only targets. He waved his hand and used his third spirit ability. The blue-silver vines gleamed metallic, blurred into countless afterimages, and intercepted the Starfall and Moon Slash, shattering and neutralizing both. The vines then swept out with brutal force, sealing all retreat paths and colliding with Dai Weici and Zhu Jun. With the vines' attributes boosted by 50%, the impact was devastating. Both men spat blood and were hurled off the stage, landing hard and unable to continue. The arena went silent, then erupted in stunned whispers. Bibi Dong, impressed despite herself, thought in under a minute he dissolved the Hell-White Tiger and then suppressed Dai Weici and Zhu Juyun with absolute force. This is comparable to a high-level spirit king, and he's so young. Poison Douluo Dugubo actually trained someone like this, she added internally. But since Qian Renshui has taken an interest, I'll leave this one to her. With Dai Weici and Zhu Juyun out, the Star Luo royal team's morale collapsed. The remaining members were picked off one by one. Heaven Dou's victory over Star Luo was decisive. Wang Li had neutralized the Hell-White Tiger in under a minute without even deploying his 10,000-year spirit ability, proof enough of his terrifying power. The crowd roared their approval. Everyone now knew the championship of the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master competition would be decided between the Spirit Hall team and the Heaven Dou royal team. On the fourth day, Heaven Dou's opponent was the last academy team from the Star Luo Empire, competent but easily dispatched. By then, the final top three had become clear: the Spirit Hall team, the Heaven Dou royal team, and the Blazing Academy team. The Star Luo royal team had been eliminated by Heaven Dou, and Godwind Academy's Feng Xiaoqian had never beaten the Huo siblings, Huo Wu and Huo Wu Shuang. On the fifth day, the final three teams would have every member take the stage in turn. The team whose Spirit Master remained standing last would advance first. The other two teams would then fight for the remaining spot. When Huo Wu of Blazing Academy stepped forward, she announced loudly, "Heaven Dou Royal Team, remember my name, Huo Wu of Blazing Academy. In this battle, Blazing Academy concedes. We're not doing this to let you wipe out the Spirit Hall team unhindered," she added. "We're letting you and them exhaust each other so we can take advantage afterward." Following that, the Spirit Hall team, apparently on orders, also declared a voluntary surrender. With those forfeitures, the Heaven Dew Royal team advanced unchallenged. Next, the Spirit Hall team and Blazing Academy faced off for the other spot. The Spirit Hall team had substituted 3 of its original 7 members with chillingly powerful replacements. After Spirit Possession, 3 Spirit Kings materialized to shock the arena. They were the Spirit Hall's golden generation, Hu Liana, Xie Yue, and Yan. Hu Liana and Xie Yue activated their Wuhun fusion skill, Bewitching Charm. A blood-red mist rolled across the arena. Inside it, the Blazing Academy members found their senses dulled by half, their spirit power suppressed by 50%, and their reactions slowed by half. Despite their strength, they were overwhelmed, spitting blood as the mist left them drained and defeated. When the mist finally dissipated, the victor was decided. The Spirit Hall team had secured the spot, and the ranks for the next stage were set. 129. Final battle, 2 chapters in 1. On the square in front of the Supreme Pontiff Palace, the Golden Generation made their appearance. Hu Liana and Xie Yue demonstrated the terrifying power of their Wuhun fusion skill, and Huo Wu and Huo Wushuang lay outside the ring, coughing up blood, breath ragged, clearly badly hurt. Feng Xiaoqian rushed to them, first holding Huo Wu and then helping Huo Wushuang to their feet, but everyone else's eyes were fixed on the Spirit Hall team, and, above all, the Golden Generation. Hu Liana, Xie Yue, and Yan all stared at Wang Li, their bodies radiating fierce fighting intent. They had known about him for 2 years, rumors of a spirit ancestor at 12, and had doubled their training in response, enduring brutal hardship. Now the spirit ancestor they'd heard of had become a spirit king, but their goal remained clear: to defeat Wang Li utterly and without mercy. Xie Yue, tall, neat, short hair, a cold smile playing on his face, made a throat-slitting gesture, an open provocation. Wang Li stayed calm, unfazed, and even clapped. Not bad, very powerful Wuhun fusion skill. You truly are worthy opponents. I thought this all-continent advanced Soul Master competition would be dull this year. The Golden Generation's faces flickered. They had expected a reaction, but not this level of nonchalance. Yan, Flame Lord Yan, hair and eyes dark red, snarled in anger, but Hu Liana waved him down. She smiled, charm flickering in her eyes. Thank you for the praise. I very much look forward to an excellent final match tomorrow. Wang Li's expression didn't change. Hu Liana had tried to use charm on him. Even if her ability were a razor's edge, his bones were steel. He returned the smile coolly. I look forward to it as well. Few around them understood the undercurrent of that exchange. In the VIP section, Ning Fengji watched with envy. Your Grace Bilin, the child you cultivated, is extraordinary. Facing the 3 spirit kings of the Golden Generation, he remains composed and imposing. Dugubo smiled. He's never been easy to intimidate. How could 3 spirit kings frighten him? Only direct confrontation with true power makes one fearless. Dugubo then strode down toward the Heaven Dew Royal team, where Wang Li and Dugu Yan waited. Ning Fengji and his protector Chen Xin exchanged thoughtful looks before Ning sighed. Uncle Jian, your Grace Bilin really is a grandmaster to cultivate someone like Wang Li. His understanding of cultivation is profound. If one has never stood against real power, how can one truly grow? Chen Xin nodded. Since I reached my current realm, I haven't had a true battle. No wonder my strength has stagnated. Old poison carries a peculiar aura. He may break through further sooner than expected, Chen Xin added. Ning Fengji agreed inwardly. The original plan needed bolstering. The Empire's weakest title, Douluo, was no longer so weak. The next morning, Wang Li rose from cultivation, not to adjust his state, but to refine his spirit power. His panel showed spirit power level 59, only 5% from breaking through to 60. He hoped the final battle would push him past the threshold. If so, after winning the championship, he could head to the Star Doe Great Forest to hunt the spirit beast for his 6th spirit ring. After washing and eating, the Heaven Dew team walked to the square. The finals of the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master competition were about to begin before an enormous crowd. Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong appeared at the palace, and a cardinal acting as referee stepped onto the ring. The final match, Spirit Hall team versus Heaven Dew Royal team. Both sides take the stage. In the Heaven Dew resting area, Wang Li exchanged smiles with Dugu Yan. She looked at Ye Lingling and said softly, "Sorry to drag you into this." Ye Lingling waved it off. The Golden Generation is strong. With 3 spirit kings against us, you need every advantage. Wang Li, Duguyan, Yu Tianheng, Oslo, Yufeng, and the 2 Shimos ascended the ring, 7 combatants. On the spirit hall side, the Golden Generation led the charge. The air crackled with tension. The rules are unchanged. When both sides are ready, activate your spirit, the Cardinal announced. Whispers rippled through the venue. The Spirit Hall team fielded 3 Spirit Kings and 4 Spirit Ancestors. The Heaven Do team, besides Wang Li, had another Spirit King, Du Guyan. Her spirit attachment revealed 5 spirit rings, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, and black, radiating a cold, majestic power. The Star Luo royal team and others watching frowned. The Heaven Do royal team had defeated them without showing their full strength and now looked stronger than expected. Within the Heaven Do Empire, Shenfeng, Chihuo, Leiting, Tianshui, and Shrek felt conflicted, awed by Wang Li and Duguyan's disparity from the rest. On the ring, Hu Lina and Xie Yu activated their Wuhan fusion skill again, while Yan rushed forward to buy them time. Hell Magma Rush! As a top-tier beast spirit with fire and earth attributes, Flame Lord Yan's first soul skill sent a pillar of scorching magma toward the Heaven Do team. Even with strong defenses from the Shimos, it would have been devastating, if not for Du Guyan. Her black spirit ring flared, condensing brutal spirit power as a sky-devouring giant python emerged and swallowed the magma pillar whole. Then the 7 to 8 meter python coiled around Du Guyan. Her sky-devouring giant python could swallow or dissolve energy attacks. While not an absolute shield, it was nearly unstoppable at that level. Yan's expression shifted. He realized the attack he'd poured into his first soul skill had been absorbed, yet the python remained, clearly a persistent devouring ability. Wang Li stepped forward. Yan Jie, I'll handle the outside. I'll break their Wuhan fusion skill and deal with Hu Lina and Xie Yu. Du Guyan didn't worry. We'll handle the others. As Wang Li plunged into the blood-red mist produced by the fusion, the rest spread out. Du Guyan called orders. Yu Tianheng, I'll handle that Spirit King. The rest of you deal with Spirit Hall's 4 Spirit Ancestors. Oslo, Yufeng, the support Spirit Master with the Golden Scepter is your target. Don't let them amplify continually. She then used her first and second soul skills, Excitation Poison and Paralysis Poison, to boost the team's attack and defense. As a Control and Poison Spirit Master, Du Guyan had to be precise. Poison could not be allowed to harm her allies. Yu Tianheng's muscles rippled with electricity. Shimo, the 2 of you, Oslo, Yufeng, follow me. Let's take out the 4 Spirit Ancestors first. Lightning flared as his arms transformed into dragon claws, and he surged forward, the 2 Shimos right behind him. Oslo and Yufeng moved to suppress the support Spirit Master with the Golden Scepter. Yan accepted the other's advance and focused on Du Guyan. The python around her nullified his energy attacks, so he approached like a lava giant, brute strength rather than energy. Du Guyan narrowed her eyes. As a Control Spirit Master, she lacked raw destructive power, but with the right timing, she could cripple even Yan. Third soul skill, Bai Lin Purple Poison, she breathed, unleashing a purple toxic mist that blocked his path. Yan didn't flinch. He activated his second soul skill, Granite Rock, coating himself in rock-like armor and pressing forward through the corrosive cloud. The poison scorched him, but he forced his way out, only to be met by Du Guyan's 4th soul skill, Bai Lin Bewildering Array, Demonic Serpent Poison Smoke. It wasn't lethal, but it stripped him of his senses, sight, hearing, smell, leaving him blind, deaf, and terrified. He thrashed wildly as Du Guyan danced like a demonic serpent, waiting for him to exhaust himself before she would finish him. In the heart of the blood-red mist, Wang Li was the center of the storm. The mist tried to invade his body, muddle his senses, suppress his spirit power, and slow him. He activated his domain, the abnormal energy was dispelled, and he returned to peak form. From within the haze, a voice, half male, half female, taunted, Wang Li, your strength is great, but once you enter this blood-red mist, you cannot escape. Wang Li chuckled. I never intended to escape. If your Wuhan fusion skill is only this strong, I'm disappointed. A cold snort answered him. A masked, ornate figure wielding 2 moon blades moved in silence toward Wang Li. A normal Spirit King would have trembled at that chill. An ordinary Spirit Emperor would treat it seriously. But Wang Li was not ordinary. With his spirit power circulating, a golden light bathed his body. He moved late but arrived first, meeting the blades with his bare hands, then grinned. Got you. Before the words finished, his fist crashed into the demon enchantress's masked face. The impact sent a shock through the fused form. Both Yu and Liana felt their heads jar, their consciousness scattered for a moment. Wang Li pushed off the ground and sprang upward, instant step, driving a knee into the demon enchantress's chest. She spat a painful groan and was flung backward. Wang Li's feet barely touched the air. He used the air as leverage, explosive feet, and closed in, whipping his leg. With a few sharp cracks, one of her arms bent wrong. The moon blades clattered from numb fingers. He landed lightly as the demon enchantress skidded and crashed to the ground. Wang Li's ability to absorb a 30,000-year spirit ring as a spirit king and a 50,000-year spirit ring as a spirit emperor had given him a body of remarkable toughness. His innate passive resilience, combined with intense training, immortal herb tempering, and spirit ring augmentation and enhancement, let him rely on physical power alone to subdue spirit kings and even some spirit emperors, sometimes without even invoking his spirit. 130. Win easily. Please subscribe. Wang Li said, sounding disappointed. That's it. I was hoping you'd put up a little pressure. This is really underwhelming. Under the cover of the blood-red mist, the demon enchantress staggered upright, clutching its right arm with the left, and almost screamed, Why weren't you affected by the red mist domain? This is impossible. Wang Li brushed it off casually. I was affected, but you never showed yourself in front of me, so it was hard to find your position. What other effects did you expect? The demon enchantress, Liana, and Yue exchanged tense looks. They had to end this fight quickly. Forcing its right arm back into place with a crack, the demon enchantress could move again, but its strength was greatly reduced. It was far from peak condition. It drew a moonblade at its side, then extended its right hand and another moonblade flew to land perfectly in its grip. Full moon. The demon enchantress moved. Its long hair fluttered and its armor rasped. The twin moonblades whirled faster and faster, whipping up fierce winds and scattering energy, forming a shining, flawless circular blade like a full moon, beautiful to behold, but radiating murderous intent. It unleashed the sweeping attack at Wang Li, evidently relying on this killing move that had once defeated a level 68 Soul Emperor teacher. Wang Li fully activated his sight, enhanced by the penetrating autumn water dew, the divine effect that sees through all things. Through the red mist, he watched the full moon slow, every movement of the demon enchantress clear to him. Confident he could break the spinning moon with the ink jade divine bamboo spear, he opened with his first soul skill. Blue-silver vines spread everywhere, and Wang Li whispered in his heart, Ink jade divine bamboo spear. The blue-silver vines took on an ink-green sheen, hardening from soft and straightening from bent. At Wang Li's thought, they thrust forward. 6 ink jade divine bamboo spears shot out and shattered the seemingly flawless full moon, striking the demon enchantress. The demon enchantress spat blood, eyes wide with disbelief. The pristine full moon had been broken. The full moon's apparent perfection came from extreme rotational speed, which masked its true movements and created tremendous destructive force. But Wang Li's penetrating autumn water dew had revealed its motion, and the toughness of the ink jade divine bamboo spears meant the moon couldn't cut them down in a single sweep. Openings appeared, and the moon was split. The spears struck and knocked the demon enchantress out of its Wuhan fusion skill. Liana and Yu reappeared, sent flying and slamming to the ground. Both of them coughed up blood as they staggered to their feet. The red mist dissipated quickly, and the scene on stage was suddenly visible to the audience. Shock rippled through the crowd. Liana and Yue, who had used Wuhan fusion, were pale and coughing blood. Had their Wuhan fusion been broken? Wang Li remained composed. With a wave of his hand, a volley of ink jade divine bamboo spears whistled toward the two of them. Yue's face went white. Ignoring his injuries, he threw himself in front of Liana, forcibly drawing on his soul power to unleash his fourth soul skill, blades across the sky. His 2 moonblades became a raining sky of blades, and he roared, Nana! Liana's spirit rose. Seizing the moment Yue bought her, she condensed soul power and unleashed her 10,000-year soul skill. Her black soul ring shone brightly. The ink jade divine bamboo spears shattered the blades across the sky and struck Shiyuo's body and martial soul. Blood sprayed across the stage. Shiyuo was hurled away, landing with life unknown. Hulina's eyes reddened. Desperation and fury over her brother's grievous injury pushed her to expend everything. Fifth soul skill, ambiguous eyes. For a moment, Wang Li was stunned by how beautiful Hulina looked. Then, he activated the ferocious aura sealed in his martial soul with his mental power. That ferocious aura had once made a nearly 30,000-year-old dream illusion flower demon tremble back when Wang Li was only a soul elder. Now, having absorbed the dream illusion flower demon's soul ring and soul bone, his mental power had reached the soul Douluo level. Releasing that aura now was terrifying. Hulina tried to seize Wang Li's mind, but a wave of extreme heat and cold crashed over her. She seemed to see two giant dragons, one red and one blue, soaring above the heavens. Even an accidental glance from them felt like divine punishment. She coughed up more blood, her eyes glazing, and she collapsed backward, life unknown. Wang Li shook his head, cleared his mind, and retracted the blue-silver vines. He scanned the stage. Yan had already fallen, his body scarred by varying degrees of corrosion. Even Dugu Yan, despite a powerful Flame Lord martial soul, could not avoid defeat. Among the remaining 4 Spirit Hall members, the support Soul Master with the brilliant golden scepter had been eliminated. 3 others still resisted stubbornly. Wang Li tilted his head and smiled. Looks like I still have to clean up the leftovers. Stop. A calm, unmistakable voice rang down from the Pope's palace above. Bibi Dong looked down at Wang Li with an appraising gaze. Defeating the Spirit Hall's golden generation was one thing. Defeating them without paying a price, without even using a 10,000-year soul skill, was another entirely. Even so, as Pope, she steadied herself and announced, "In this competition, the Spirit Hall has lost." Pope Bibi Dong's voluntary concession sent a shock through the venue. Countless eyes turned toward Wang Li with mixed motives: admiration, malice, curiosity, greed. Bibi Dong continued, "Sectmaster Ning, I must trouble you to personally stabilize the injuries of a few of my Spirit Hall's children." Ning Fengji, having recovered his composure, smiled and replied politely, "No problem." He summoned his martial soul. A 7-story, 7-colored glazed tile pagoda appeared in his hand. 7 soul rings in optimal configuration, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 orbited him. As the continent's premier support soul master, Ning Fengji unleashed the light of healing on Hulina, Shiyuo, and Yan. Their complexions recovered visibly within moments. Bibi Dong then announced, "Heaven Do Royal Team, congratulations. You have defeated the Spirit Hall team and are the champions of the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Competition. Send a representative to receive your prize." Thanks to reader MomTV31 for the 100 Chidian coins reward. As the final victor emerged, the scene in the arena came into focus. The Heaven Do Royal team, all 8 members, regrouped. Zhang Ping, Li Kai, Xuan Tao, and Shu Yu of the Spirit Hall helped the badly injured Huliena, while Shiyue and Yan retreated toward the Supreme Pontiff Palace. After Ning Fengji's treatment, Shiyue and Yan, though weak, had awoken. Only Huliena, whose mental force had been damaged, remained unconscious, unwilling to accept defeat, and frightened by the terrifying display of true power they had just witnessed. Wang Li and Dugu Yan, with their overwhelming presence, had broken the golden generation. Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong had conceded an unprecedented outcome. There was no doubt now. Wang Li would be their champion and receive the prize. Wang Li walked to the front of the Supreme Pontiff Palace. Bibi Dong stepped out herself and produced a brocade box. Inside lay the 3 spirit bones she had displayed earlier. She handed the box to Wang Li and, despite her usually reserved temperament, added, "Wang Li, your performance in the arena astonished me. Will you join Spirit Hall? I can recommend you for treatment as a cardinal, equivalent to a spirit saint, and there will certainly be a place for you in the Elder Palace in time." Wang Li glanced at the elegant Supreme Pontiff and knew his reply could shape Spirit Hall's attitude toward him. He bowed and said, "Thank you for your kindness, your grace, the Supreme Pontiff. However, as your grace knows, my grandfather is an honored guest of the Heaven Do Empire, and I am close to the Crown Prince. I also received a token from him. At this time, whatever else, I cannot join Spirit Hall. Please forgive me." Bibi Dong paused, then turned her gaze to Shui Qinghe, the representative of the Heaven Do Empire, who was present. Shui Qing met her look with a gentle smile, outwardly polite and refined, but his eyes hinted at deeper meaning. After a moment, Bibi Dong recovered her composure. She would not seize his people. Speaking with the measured dignity of the Supreme Pontiff, she said, "Very well. I will not force you. Wang Li, I see the future of the Spirit Master's world in you. Cultivate diligently and become strong." Bibi Dong could not yet tell what kind of monster stood before her. Wang Li smiled confidently. "Thank you for your encouragement, Your Grace. I will cultivate diligently." With that, he accepted the brocade box and returned to his team. Along the way, countless covetous eyes followed him. The 3 spirit bones were no small prize, and one of them was over 50,000 years old. Dugubo soon descended to escort Wang Li, his status as a titled Douluo clearing the way. Back with his team, Wang Li casually opened the brocade box and distributed the bones. 3 spirit bones. This mind-condensing wisdom skull is for Dugu Yan and myself. He took out the wisdom skull and placed it in Dugu Yan's hands. No one objected. After all, the Golden Generation, Hulina, Xie, and Yan had been defeated mainly by Wang Li and Dugu Yan together. Wang Li continued, "The burst incineration flame right arm bone goes to Senior Yu Tianheng. Lightning and fire are often entwined. Although it's not a perfect lightning match, it's invaluable." He tossed the flame right arm bone to Yu Tianheng. As a direct descendant of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, Yu Tianheng treasured it. "Wang Li, I will remember this kindness. You're welcome at the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan any time," he said in a deep voice. Wang Li smiled without fuss. With the strength he and Dugu Yan possessed, these prizes felt almost incidental. He then handed the 3rd bone, the swift-forward, wind-chasing left leg, to Oslo. "This fits you best. As an agility-attacking spirit master who relies on running, it's highly compatible." Oslo trembled with excitement as he accepted the bone and the brocade box. With the spirit bones distributed, Wang Li addressed the rest. "I wish we could have gotten one for everyone, but that wasn't realistic." Yu Feng, Shi Mo, and Ye Lingling understood and nodded. "Find a chance to absorb the spirit bones soon," Wang Li warned Yu Tianheng and Oslo. "Don't go out alone on the way back, and be careful. Even after returning to Heaven Do City, cultivate steadily for a few years." Yu Tianheng and Oslo felt the gravity of his words. Spirit bones were supreme treasures. Great opportunity came with great risk. Wang Li's reminder was thoughtful. He would not be returning with the rest. He then walked to Shui Qinghe and spoke clearly. "Your Royal Highness, I have not failed. We won the championship of the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Competition. The championship belongs to Heaven Do." Shui Qinghe looked pleased. Wang Li had defeated the Golden Generation and comported himself perfectly before Bibi Dong, neither servile nor arrogant. The favor he had shown Wang Li now felt justified. It was only a matter of time before Wang Li was completely under his influence. "You all did very well," Shui Qinghe said. "You brought honor to Heaven Do. When we return, I will report to His Majesty, and you will be greatly rewarded." Wang Li bowed. "Thank you, Your Royal Highness. But about the rewards, we can discuss them back home. We took the best spirit bone this time." "Someone might take desperate measures," Wang Li added. "Grandpa Dugu will escort Dugu Yan and me out first. We won't go with everyone else." Shui Qinghe frowned. Wang Li's concern was valid. This was Spirit City, Spirit Hall territory, and their identities couldn't be revealed. Letting Dugubo take them out first was safest. "That's sensible," Shui Qinghe agreed. "With Dugubo's protection, you'll be safer. We'll meet again in Heaven Do City." Wang Li bowed to his teacher and teammates. "Teacher Qin, everyone, see you in Heaven Do City." Qin Ming and the rest had heard everything and said their farewells. Wang Li and Dugu Yan left with Dugu Bo. By the Supreme Pontiff Palace, the white-robed Yueguan stepped forward and asked, transmitting his voice with spirit power, "Your Grace, the Supreme Pontiff, shall I go with Old Ghost?" Bibi Dong glanced toward Shui Qinghe, hesitated slightly, then subtly shook her head. She looked over the unconscious Hu Liena and the weakened Xie Yu and Yan. Calm but commanding, she said, "First, heal them. Then have them come see me. It seems their training volume is insufficient. Elder Ju, you are responsible for today's defeat. Carry out the punishments and training as you see fit." With that, she turned and left, her back a picture of nobility. Guan gritted his teeth in anger, not at Bibi Dong, whom he dared not anger, but at Bo. Under Bo's guidance, two prodigies had risen and easily defeated the golden generation that Guan had painstakingly trained. The Spirit Hall group had been formidable, their spirit powers around levels 53 and 54, but they had been thoroughly beaten. This all-continent advanced Soul Master competition ended in shock. Where once spirit elders and spirit ancestors clashed, now spirit kings had taken the field, raising the stakes to a new level. Members of every academy left the arena with complicated feelings and retreated to their lodgings to recover. Under Qinming's protection, Yu Tianheng and Oslo began preparing to absorb their spirit bones immediately to avoid being targeted. Meanwhile, Bo flew low and fast with Wang Li and Yan, masking their aura. He laughed in wonder. 3 spirit bones. Spirit Hall was generous. They must have expected the golden generation. It's their bad luck that they met you. Wang Li smiled. They didn't fit them well. It's not worth wasting a slot for a minor attribute boost. We already took the best one. After Yan absorbs the mind-condensing wisdom skull, her mental force will rise dramatically. With her body strengthened by the 2 immortal herbs, her next spirit ring could exceed the usual age limit for absorption. If one spirit ring after another exceeds the age limit, her 8th and 9th soul rings might be able to absorb a 100,000-year spirit ring. Even the 5th soul ring could become an innate ring. That would be a spirit ring combination to shock the entire continent. Bo and Yan were stunned. It was a path they had never imagined. Who would dare to absorb a 100,000-year spirit ring at level 80? But Wang Li's analysis carried weight. Bo thought long and soberly. We'll see what happens. If Yan truly has the confidence to absorb a 100,000-year spirit ring, I will use every means to hunt one down for her. That night, in the Stardew Great Forest, Bo drove out the cave's original owner, and they made it their temporary shelter. We'll stay here tonight. Yan, absorb the spirit bone first. A head spirit bone over 50,000 years old will give a huge boost. Okay, Grandpa, Yan replied, and took the head spirit bone from her spirit tool. She sat cross-legged, placed it on her head, and circulated spirit power to merge with it. The bone became a stream of light and flowed into her. A cool clarity filled her mind. Her mental force swelled. Perception, calculation, toughness, and density all improved. Her intellect and resilience expanded. Wang Li found a quiet spot as well and said, Grandpa, I'll cultivate too. I felt I was only a hair's breadth from level 60 spirit power after fighting the golden generation. I hoped the pressure would spur a breakthrough, but it didn't. I'll try to break through by myself. Afterward, I'll hunt for a plant-type spirit beast for my 6th soul ring. Bo was surprised and proud. Xiao Li, you're only 14, not yet 15, and you're about to reach Spirit Emperor. There's probably no younger Spirit Emperor on the continent. If I'd been so talented, I'd be a 97 or 98 Super Douluo by now. Wang Li smiled. I've taken more than 1 immortal herb and I have a domain. It's natural I'd advance faster. He activated his blue-silver domain, commanding the blue-silver grass to release life force in exchange for energy from every blue-silver grass within 1,000 meters. Specks of light converged as Wang Li entered cultivation. The system cultivation method he used consumed much, but with the domain replenishing him, the cost vanished. Sustained and efficient, his cultivation began to accelerate. 132. Realm of God. Please subscribe. The Supreme Pontiff Palace was the holiest place in Spirit Hall after the Douluo Hall, the Hall of Elders, and the Elder Palace. As the residence of Spirit Hall's Supreme Pontiff, it had always been heavily guarded. No outsider was ever allowed near. Yet today, a strange man arrived at the gates carrying an Elder's token. He had only 29th level spirit power and wasn't even a spirit elder. Still, with the token, the main gates opened and closed behind him. Inside the palace, a figure sat on the throne, tall and thin, her face composed and stern. It was Bibi Dong. Before her stood the man who had come, Yu Xiaogong of Shrek, stiff-faced and measured. Bibi Dong's expression softened for a moment. Xiaogong, long time no see. Yu Xiaogong bowed. Your Holiness, long time no see. She regarded him in silence for a heartbeat, then asked evenly, Elder Yu, You used an elder's token just to see me. What do you need? Yu Xiaogong looked up at the Supreme Pontiff in her magnificent purple-gold robes, still as beautiful as ever, and tried to swallow his apology. He spoke carefully. My research has reached a bottleneck. I came to consult you. Spirit master talent depends on two things, the spirit itself and innate spirit power. There is also a special form of talent, twin spirits. Twin spirits are both blessing and curse. The blessing is this: when the first spirit cultivates to a very high realm, the first spirit ring of the second spirit can start as a 10,000-year spirit ring. But the curse is that attempting to cultivate two spirits with conflicting attributes often causes the spirit master to explode and die soon after attaching spirit rings to the second spirit. What I want to know is how to resolve this. Across the continent, if anyone can solve it, I believe it can only be Your Holiness. After watching Wang Li and Du Guyan's performance earlier, Yu Xiaogong had become uneasy. His disciple possessed twin spirits, an extraordinary rarity, yet his disciple had not performed as well as the mutated blue-silver grass with innate level 3 spirit power. Yu Xiaogong could not accept that and had come to seek answers. Bibidong's lips curved into a small sneer. So there are things Elder Yu still does not know. With your profound research into spirits, this shouldn't be hard for you. Yu Xiaogong felt a stab of shame. I am, after all, only a 29th level spirit grandmaster. I know countless spirits and spirit beasts, but there are matters beyond my reach. Seeing him so crestfallen, Bibidong's face softened a touch. Elder Yu, remember this. Plant spirits can absorb animal spirit rings, and animal spirits can absorb plant spirit rings. There's no inherent attribute conflict there. A level 10 spirit scholar cannot absorb a 1,000-year spirit ring. Why do you think that is? The lightning of understanding struck Yu Xiaogong. He blurted it out, relieved. Body strength. Even a titled Douluo's body cannot withstand the attachment of so many spirit rings. Handling more than 10 spirit rings is a domain beyond ordinary spirit masters. Bibidong's eyes shone with approval. As expected from the #1 grandmaster in theoretical research, attaching more than 10 spirit rings is the domain of gods. Spirit masters are still mortal. They cannot touch that domain. Yu Xiaogong's face, usually stiff, relaxed into a strained smile. Today I have seen the truth. Thank you, Your Holiness. He turned and left. Bibidong opened her mouth, but she didn't call him back. Beneath the controlled calm, old hatred and pain, long suppressed, burned all the more fiercely, as if they would consume everything. At Shrek Academy's residence, Tangsan knelt on the floor. Before him stood a tall, disheveled man, his clothes ragged, his appearance almost like a beggar. Tangsan bowed his head, voice thick with a mix of shame and hope. Father! The man, Tang Hao, looked at his son. The brows above his eyes were heavy with concern. He saw no mirror of himself, no trace of Yin, only disappointment, passivity, a lack of courage and fire. Could this really be his son? Yet the proof stood before him, the clear sky hammer and Yin's blue-silver grass as twin spirits. There was no falsifying that. Stand up like a man, Tang Hao said, his voice low but firm. How can you lose all courage just because you lost a match? Tang San rose, but his dejection didn't lift. He believed himself useless, and a few words couldn't change that. Tang Hao drew a deep breath, the lines on his brow sharpening. The clear sky hammer had given his son strength, but his son's character had become as yielding as blue-silver grass. In contrast, Tang Hao remembered the other young man he had seen earlier, the one who had chosen the path of physical strength. How had his master trained him? Tang Hao could not let his son remain here and be ruined. He had to restore Tang San's courage and passion. At that moment, Yu Xiaogong returned. Seeing Tang Hao, he was surprised, though he quickly composed himself. Tang Hao nodded to him and said in a steady voice, "Grandmaster, I'm taking little San with me. He needs special training." Yu Xiaogong felt a pang of regret but did not protest. Instead, he added, "For twin spirits, the problem with attaching spirit rings to the second spirit lies in the body's strength. Beyond 10 spirit rings is the domain of gods. Ordinary spirit masters cannot cross it." A sharp light flashed in Tang Hao's eyes. His respect for Yu Xiaogong grew. Indeed, a true grandmaster could not be matched in theoretical knowledge. Tang Hao acknowledged this with a brief nod, then scooped Tang San up and rose into the air. Midair, Tang San realized his father could fly and blurted, "Father, let's go to the Stardo Great Forest." Xiao Wu was taken by the Titan giant ape, and her fate is unknown. "Father, please help me save her." Tang Hao glanced at him. Xiao Wu is a 100,000-year spirit beast, a soft-bones rabbit in human form. Returning to the Stardew Great Forest is like going home. Do you still want to find her? Tang San froze, then nodded without hesitation. Relief flickered across Tang Hao's face. This was his son. Love ran deep enough that it did not matter if the beloved was a blade of grass or a rabbit. The Tang men were not concerned with others' judgments. "I want you to regain your passion and courage," Tang Hao said. "Stop practicing the blue-silver grass for now. From this moment, practice the clear sky hammer. I taught you the disorder-splitting wind hammer method. When you can swing 81 hammers and your passion and courage are restored, I will take you into the depths of the Stardew Great Forest." Doubt flickered through Tang San. 81 hammers. Could he do it? As Tang Hao bore Tang San away, his aura could no longer be concealed. Bibi Dong shot out of the Supreme Pontiff Palace like a gale, eyes sharp, her face ice-cold. Her expression then turned to a bitter, contemptuous smile. "Your disciple is named Tang San, Tang Hao's son, twin spirits. You hid this from me so well," she said, voice tight with fury. In an instant, Yueguan and Guimei arrived at her side. "Your Holiness, the aura is Tang Hao's." Bibi Dong's calm returned, replaced by cold command. "That sinner Tang Hao, the one who killed my teacher, the previous Supreme Pontiff, actually dared to come to Spirit City? How bold, how detestable. Issue an order, launch a continent-wide search for Tang Hao. Once he is found, report immediately. He is my mortal enemy. I will personally slay him to avenge my honored teacher." "There must be no mistakes," Yueguan and Guimei replied in unison. "As you command." Back in the Stardew Great Forest. After 5 hours of absorption, the spirit bone from the head of the 50,000-year-old Saint Illusion Devil Ape was finally fully integrated into Duguyan. Her eyes opened, divine force surged. Behind her, countless motes of mental light condensed into her spirit, the biphosphorus dragon. Moments later, the last of the disturbances faded, and Duguyan's eyes returned to their familiar bi-green color. She sprang to her feet, surprised, and swept a gaze over Wang Li, who was still cultivating, and Dugubo, who stood guard. "Grandpa, Xiao Li is?" she asked. Dugubo glanced at Wang Li and explained. "He said his spirit power at level 59 was only a hair's breadth from breaking through. If he makes the leap, level 60 before he's 15, tsk." He turned to Duguyan, excitement showing on his face. The boost from a 50,000-year-old head spirit bone was massive. In a solemn tone, he asked, "Yan Yan, how do you feel? What did the spirit bone improve?" Duguyan looked at Wang Li, briefly sizing him up. If she wanted to keep pace, she would have to accelerate her cultivation and refine new poisons. Then she withdrew her gaze and explained. "The mind-condensing wisdom skull does exactly what it says. It greatly amplifies my mental force. That helps in cultivation, in combat, in absorbing spirit rings, and in preparing powerful poisons. Everything becomes more efficient. It also granted me a strong single-target attack skill, Demon-Breaking Divine Light, specifically the blue phosphorus Demon-Breaking Divine Light. Using my eyes as a conduit, I can materialize mental force into a beam. I don't have many active offensive techniques, so this lets me take the initiative. After fusing with my spirit, it gained a special effect, hence the Bai-Lin. When activated, it emits a pressure that can frighten lower-grade spirits or spirit beasts, breaking their will. Unleashing the full divine light consumes enormous mental force, but simply activating it takes only a small amount, very practical for sustained use." Dugubo couldn't help but laugh. As expected from a 50,000-year spirit bone, the Spirit Hall really outdid themselves. Blue phosphorus demon-breaking divine light both intimidates and strikes, very practical indeed. Duguyan turned her attention back to Wang Li. She had gained much, but catching up to him would still take work. Dugubo's smile faded. Duguyan had woken, but Wang Li had not yet. "Yan Yan, watch over Xiao Li. I'll go fetch food for you two." "Okay, Grandpa," she answered. Dugubo circulated spirit power and flew out of the cave. After he left, Duguyan paced, found a large rock, wiped it clean, and sat. She stared at Wang Li for a long moment, then took a brand new book from her storage spirit tool and began to read. The cover was new, but the contents were profound. The entire poison inheritance of the Tang sect recorded inside. Wang Li had painstakingly written it down and gifted it to Douluo Yan. With several inheritances at her disposal, if she could integrate them, she would be a master of the poison path. Douluo soon returned, carrying prey. The Douluo Great Forest teemed with spirit beasts and resources. He'd killed a 100-year-old star-spotted spirit pig and gathered wild fruits, bringing everything back to the cave. Wang Li didn't know how long he'd been cultivating. He only felt that as his spirit power circulated, refining the abundant energy, his spirit power had expanded rapidly. He had broken through to level 60 spirit power. Now he only needed the right spirit ring, of the correct age, type, and quality, to become a spirit emperor. When he woke, he smelled roasting meat. His nose twitched. What a smell! Shaoli is awake, Douluo Yan cried. Hurry, hurry! Grandpa roasted a star-spotted spirit pig, just a pinch of salt and it's delicious. Wang Li followed the voices and saw Douluo and Douluo Yan outside, tending a whole roasted pig, glistening with oil and smelling mouth-wateringly good. He rushed over. I'm coming! How long was I cultivating? The pig is already roasted? Douluo sized him up and asked, About a dozen hours. You succeeded in breaking through. Wang Li smiled. I did. Once I obtain a proper spirit ring, I can become a spirit emperor. Yan Yan also finished absorbing her spirit bone. She must have gained a lot. Douluo Yan described blue phosphorus demon-breaking divine light again. Wang Li listened, impressed. Compared to Tang San's purple demon eye, this was a materialized mental force single-target attack, and after fusing with her spirit, it gained an added pressure effect. Very practical. Douluo Yan helped Wang Li cut off a pig leg, laid it on a large leaf, sprinkled on salt. Wang Li took his dagger and cut it into pieces, then eagerly bit into the meat. It was fragrant and fresh. Even without many seasonings, the meat of a century-old spirit beast that had just been killed tasted superb. While they ate, Douluo asked, Have you decided what kind of spirit beast you want for your 6th spirit ring? Wang Li answered carefully, My 5th spirit ring came from a dream illusion flower demon, nearly 30,000 years old. Life and spirit attributed, it enhanced both body and spirit. For the 6th ring, I want a 50,000-year spirit beast. But those are rare. Animal spirit beasts are few, and plant spirit beasts even rarer. I've selected candidates and will sweep with my domain, starting here in the Douluo Great Forest. If I don't find one, I'll search special valleys and mountain ranges. Douluo listened, impressed. A 30,000-year 5th ring, 50,000 for the 6th, then probably an 80,000-year for the 7th, and by the 8th, you'll be hunting a 100,000-year spirit beast. Wang Li nodded. I've used a lot of immortal herbs and have good conditions. I plan to push the limits. At level 80, I can venture into the extreme north's great snow mountains. That white-haired old man said he'd give me a 100,000-year spirit ring and a spirit bone, surely not for free. I'll need the qualifications to trade for it. Douluo considered a moment. When that time comes, I'll go with you. A 100,000-year spirit beast is terrifying, comparable to a titled Douluo. Some can even take human form. It won't be simple. Douluo Yan heard this and relaxed. With Wang Li's head spirit bone, the immortal herbs he'd consumed, and her grandfather watching over him, absorbing a 100,000-year ring and bone by level 80 wasn't impossible. They finished the meal, packed the leftovers into storage spirit tools, cleaned up, and set out in search of Wang Li's 6th ring. Wang Li expanded his blue-silver domain across several kilometers and began a careful sweep. Even here, finding a plant spirit beast around 50,000 years old wasn't easy. For 4 or 5 days, they probed deeper into the forest's core, where 30 and 50,000-year spirit beasts were more common. Man-faced demon spiders, white-eyed demon tigers, scaly armored crocodile kings, moonlight deer kings, all 10,000-year spirit beasts with formidable auras. Using the blue-silver domain, Wang Li masked their presence so they avoided confrontation. Finally, Wang Li's eyes lit up. In his perception, a vibrant aura had appeared. He tracked it and found the source. Atop a mountain stood a peculiar tree, towering into the clouds with a majestic crown, lush and evergreen as if it would never fade. 10,000-year evergreen. Wang Li felt a rush of excitement. The tree lived up to its name, enormous vitality, effectively timeless. The 10,000-year evergreen could solidify energy to form a unique seal. Any life sealed by it could not escape. Whether 100 or 100,000 years, the seal would not lift. The trapped life would be neither truly dead nor free, effectively imprisoned. That made the 10,000-year evergreen a truly fearsome spirit beast. Wang Li observed carefully. 40,000? 50,000. After a long look, he concluded, at least close to 60,000 years. This is the one. Turning to Douluo and Douluo, he said, stay behind me. I found a spirit beast suitable for my sixth ring, a 10,000-year evergreen, over 50,000 years old. Absorbing its ring will give a huge boost. He flew forward, using instant step and explosive feet, darting through the forest at uncanny speed. Douluo carried Douluo and flew just behind, his expression tense. A 10,000-year evergreen, over 50,000 years old, was dangerous. Not vicious, but its sealing ability could trap even those stronger than it. They reached the tree. Wang Li had already made a plan. Grandpa, Yan, cover the perimeter. Don't let other spirit beasts interfere. If anything goes wrong, you'll be close enough to help. I want to try hunting it alone, he added. When I took the dream illusion flower demon alone, it dropped a spirit bone. This one is over 50,000 years. If it drops a bone, it'll be top grade. Douluo was shocked. Xiaoli, are you serious? Over 50,000 years old. Can you really take it down? Wang Li smiled confidently. Just to try. There's nothing to lose. Douluo thought a moment and agreed. He would be nearby to rescue them if needed. Be careful. They stepped back. Douluo and Douluo flew a short distance away. Keep your distance so we don't disturb him, Douluo said. Wang Li stood on a large rock, facing the towering tree. He summoned his spirit and activated his domain. The blue-silver domain expanded fully. All the blue-silver grass within 1,000 meters lent their strength to him. He began with his first spirit ability, Ink Jade Divine Bamboo Spear. Blue-silver vines became a crashing forest of Ink Jade Divine Bamboo Spears, launched with ruthless intent. The 10,000-year evergreen stiffened. Energy along its trunk quickened and solidified into a crystalline wall. It swelled with fury and aura. Spears struck the crystal barrier in a cataclysmic collision, wall and spears both shattering. Crystals scattered and dissipated back into energy. The spears snapped and reverted to vines. Wang Li's third and fourth spirit rings activated in quick succession. Chaotic Dance, raising all attributes by 50%, and Infinite Plunder, which frantically drew in energy. Ice Poison and Fire Poison are my current killing moves, he thought. Those two poisons were deadly. Under their corrosion, the evergreen's crystalline defense crumbled and dissolved. Its great crown, that cloud-piercing canopy, shook violently as each leaf began to glow. Wang Li concentrated every ounce of mental force, unleashed the fierce aura nested within his spirit, and struck at the evergreen's soul. He didn't want it to have the chance to seal him and then rely on its own vitality to break free. Boom! His fierce aura slammed into its consciousness. The 10,000-year evergreen was hit hard. The glow of its leaves dimmed, and then leaves began to fall. On the surface, there was little visible change, but its aura had waned. Wang Li's attack had clearly inflicted substantial damage. 134. Blue-silver barrier, new spirit bone. Even the most extraordinary plant spirit beasts had a fatal flaw. They couldn't move or dodge. Wang Li took full advantage of that. He repeatedly disrupted the 10,000-year evergreen's attempts to cast seals, hammering at its mind with mental attacks. After 3 hours of relentless tug-of-war, the ancient tree's aura finally collapsed to its weakest point. Wang Li shifted to a full assault, injecting ice poison and fire poison into its trunk. A mournful, ancient wail echoed from the mountaintop, but his heart was made of iron. He remained unmoved. Crack! 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 The towering tree groaned and finally toppled, its once lush canopy withered under the twin poisons. Black currents of air surged like a raging gale. When the wind died down, a profoundly dark spirit ring hung over the evergreen's remains. Relief flooded Wang Li, though his head throbbed from overexertion of spirit power. He had slain a 50,000-year spirit beast, but at great cost. Its vitality had been terrifying, and only the brutality of the ice poison and fire poison had subdued it. He sank into a cross-legged meditation and circulated his cultivation technique, refining the energy drawn through the blue-silver grass and the blue-silver domain to speed his recovery. Bo and Yan arrived then, somewhat incredulous that Wang Li had killed such a formidable spirit beast by himself. Half an hour later, Wang Li opened his eyes. Seeing them, he smiled. "Grandpa, Yanyanji, I did it. I need to absorb this spirit ring first. Please keep watch." Bo nodded, then warned him gravely, "Guard your mind. Don't worry about anything else. Focus entirely on absorbing that ring." Comforted by the reminder, Wang Li summoned the spirit ring with his spirit. The black ring floated like a weighted orb and settled against his spirit before merging into it. In an instant, a boundless surge of energy poured into his body and spirit. This was his second time absorbing a 10,000-year ring, so he knew how to manage it. He circulated his spirit power, letting golden light suffuse his limbs, bones, organs, meridians, and dantian. At the same time, he relied on the dream illusion flower demon's head spirit bone to blur the line between reality and illusion, laying a trap to catch any resentful remnant soul. As expected, a spiteful remnant spirit lunged in, roaring and thrashing, but, fooled by the illusion, it couldn't find the location of Wang Li's mind. After a furious, fruitless outburst, the power-drained remnant dissipated. The spirit ring's essence was enormous. Only his robust physique kept him from being overwhelmed. The refinement still took 3 or 4 hours. Everything proceeded methodically. When he opened his eyes again, he was a spirit emperor. Blue-silver vines fanned out around him, and 6 spirit rings hovered. Yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, black. The 2 black rings radiated oppressive power. Wang Li checked his status panel. Host, Wang Li Spirit, Blue-Silver King of 6, Evolving. Spirit Power, Level 63, 18% Trait Vitality Level 6. As a 10,000-year king of Blue-Silver Grass, the Blue-Silver King has immense vitality, a powerful body, terrifying strength, and rapid recovery. Passive, Tenacity, Level 6. What doesn't kill me makes me stronger. After surviving abnormal states that do not result in death, the physique is greatly enhanced. Domain, Blue-Silver Domain Level 3. The Blue-Silver King's exclusive domain, required for ascending to Blue-Silver Emperor. Spirit Rings, 1st equipped, 2nd equipped, 3rd, 4th equipped, 5th equipped, 6th equipped. Spirit Bone, Dream Illusion, Flower Demon's Head Spirit Bone equipped. Combat Experience, 362,840. Absorbing a spirit ring beyond his level had immediate benefits. His spirit power jumped to level 63, and his Blue-Silver domain advanced a level. He realized, too, that the domain's abilities could be actively developed. At level 1, the domain granted passive detection. At level 2, it gave passive disguise. At level 3, he sensed he could, for a short time, make all Blue-Silver grass within the domain reach the strength of his Blue-Silver King and directly manipulate them in battle. The prospect pleased him. Wang Li focused on the 6th spirit ring. He touched it with his will and opened its details. Spirit ability. Blue-Silver Barrier. Wherever Blue-Silver vines spread, a Blue-Silver barrier can be released. Inside the barrier, energy is solidified and enemies are frozen in place. Unless the barrier is actively dispelled, forcing a breakout triggers an immense backlash as the barrier shatters. The resulting energy storm rips enemies apart. Source, 10,000-year evergreen. One of the top plant spirit beasts, capable of solidifying energy and casting absolute seals, freezing foes in time. Years, 59,724. Wang Li nearly gasped. The ability left no room for escape. Weaker opponents would be sealed, unable to break free. Even stronger enemies, if they forced their way out, would suffer an enormous backlash. The energy released by a 50,000-year ability could reduce a spirit saint to dust. A spirit Douluo with any weakness in defense would likely be pulverized as well. Finished absorbing? Bo asked, curiosity lighting his face. Perhaps a 50,000-year spirit ability must be overbearing. Wang Li turned to him. Yes, within the range of my spirit, I can form a barrier that solidifies enemies inside it. It's a control ability. If they smash the barrier to break out, it will shatter into an energy storm strong enough to tear apart a spirit saint and severely injure a spirit Douluo. Bo and Yan stared, shaken by the implication. Wang Li stood and stretched. Under the guidance of his spirit power, he sensed something else among the evergreen's remains. He felt a surge of joy. There had to be a spirit bone. Given the tree's age, the likelihood of a spirit bone was high. Hunted down by him alone, the evergreen would be filled with unwillingness and resentment. perfect conditions for one to form. He strode toward the fallen 10,000-year evergreen. Dugu Bo and Dugu Yan watched Wang Li with curiosity. Wang Li strode over to the remains of the 10,000-year evergreen, sensed it briefly, then tore at the crown. Hidden inside was a bone-like object emitting a faint green light. "Spirit bone," both Dugu Bo and Dugu Yan exclaimed. Wang Li felt its pull immediately. He had already absorbed the tree's spirit ring. The temptation of its spirit bone was overwhelming. "A left-arm spirit bone," he said. "This 10,000-year evergreen is over 50,000 years old, almost 60,000. It makes sense it would produce a spirit bone." "Yan, quickly absorb it," Dugu Yan urged. "When a spirit ring and a spirit bone from the same spirit beast are both with you, they reach their maximum effect." Dugu Bo nodded. "She's right. Absorb it at once. Kid, you've been unbelievably lucky. You got a head spirit bone from the beast for your 5th spirit ring, and now a left-arm spirit bone for your 6th. Wang Li smiled and said, "All right, I'll absorb it now." He felt inwardly that his luck had indeed been extraordinary, though hunting alone and killing a resentful spirit beast probably helped attract these rare drops. He took the left-arm spirit bone, placed it against his own left arm, and channeled his spirit power to fuse with it. The spirit bone dissolved like mist and flowed into him. Power, immense power, and a vivid surge of vitality poured through his body. Wang Li sat down and focused, absorbing with everything he had. A spirit bone's power rivals that of a spirit ring. Absorbing one is less risky than absorbing a ring, but it still takes time. 5 or 6 hours later, the fierce circulation of spirit power in his body calmed and settled into his dantian. He opened his eyes, a smile tugging at his lips. With a spirit ring and a spirit bone from the same spirit beast concentrated in him, his spirit power rose to about level 65, an astonishing leap. High-grade spirit rings and spirit bones are treasures, and when they come from the same beast, their synergy is devastatingly effective. Wang Li turned to Dugu Bo and Dugu Yan, who watched him with interest. "After I absorbed the spirit ring, I was around level 63. Now, after the spirit bone, I'm about level 65. The ring and bone from the same spirit beast really are powerful together. And it granted me a new skill, Eternal Seal," he continued. "The spirit ring gave me one skill, and the spirit bone has its own inherent ability. Eternal Seal can solidify an opponent's spirit power, freeze their spirit power, their soul, and even their thoughts, making it impossible for them to break free on their own." He paused, choosing his words. "It's not just offensive. If someone's sealed, they enter a sleep-like state, as if preserved in amber. If you unseal them decades or even a century later, they'll be the same as before. The long time will feel to them like nothing more than sleep. The downside is the cost. Your spirit power must be higher than the opponent's to seal them completely." Dugu Bo nodded admiringly. "That's already incredibly powerful. In some ways, your Eternal Seal is even more domineering than my mind-condensing wisdom skull technique, Medusa's Gaze. Even if you can't fully seal a stronger enemy, a brief sealing effect can give you a crucial window to win." Wang Li agreed. "A spirit ring skill plus a spirit bone skill has multiplied my strength several times." Dugu Bo, sensing it was time to move, composed himself. "We've absorbed the ring and the bone. We should leave. This is a core area of the Stardew Great Forest, too risky for spirit masters to linger." Wang Li had gained a great deal and knew they should retreat. He planned to return to the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang Well, the safest place, and use what he had learned there to upgrade himself thoroughly. After that, he intended to hunt the 85,000-year-old Blue-Silver King for his 7th spirit ring, obtain his martial soul true body, and become a spirit saint. Dugu Bo quickly tidied the site, dismantled the poisonous array he had set up to discourage other spirit beasts, and led Dugu Yan and Wang Li out of the forest's core. On the way back, Wang Li turned to Dugu Yan. "That gem-type illusion head spirit bone from Shi Neon was originally meant for you, Yan, but now that we have the mind-condensing wisdom skull, the spare head spirit bone is useless to us. Instead of keeping it, we should exchange it for something more valuable. Grandpa, once we're back in Heaven Dew City, we can make it public. We'll auction the gem-type illusion head spirit bone at the Tiando Great Auction House, and we'll accept barters. Prioritize poison-type or dragon-type spirit bones for exchange. You're a titled Douluo, Grandpa. I don't think anyone would dare try to snatch something like this from you. Dugubo agreed. That makes sense. We don't need the head spirit bone. If we swap it for a poison-type or dragon-type spirit bone, it will be for Yan Yan. If it's a plant-type spirit bone, it belongs to you, Li. After all, it was your prize. The Tiando Great Auction House has powerful backers, but they'll respect me and will do their best to handle the auction properly. Duguyan added, Right, this spirit bone was obtained by Li at great risk. If anyone deserves priority, it's him, especially for a plant-type spirit bone. Wang Li waved a hand and chuckled. Don't decide too hastily. Set a deadline and then see what offerings come in. We can choose after seeing what's available. Dugubo and Duguyan agreed. Spirit bones are rare. They had no way of knowing which forces or what kinds of bones would appear. They left the Stardew Great Forest, but did not fly straight back. To hide their trail, they would only take to the air if absolutely necessary. 10 days later, they arrived in Heavendew City without incident. With Dugubo, a titled Douluo, accompanying them, no one could track or intercept them unless Spirit Hall wanted to make a move. News of the Heavendew Royal Team's victory in the All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Competition was already everywhere. People were still talking about the triumphant return, the 500 royal knights who had escorted the main group, and the grand welcome that had followed. Back home, Duguyan pulled Wang Li toward the door. Grandpa, Li and I are going out. I need to order a large medicine cauldron from the blacksmith. I want to refine some powerful poisons, truly extraordinary ones, and I need the right tools. Dugubo smiled. Go ahead. As long as you're in the city, I can be there in an instant. Don't worry about danger. Wang Li glanced at Duguyan. The Tang sect legacy she had received included many poisons. Refining them would require repeated tempering in a proper cauldron. He wondered whether he should someday find someone to forge the hidden weapons he'd thought about, but forging from scratch wasn't something he wanted to learn. If he commissioned a smith, that person would have to be trustworthy. For now, it wasn't urgent. He didn't need hidden weapons for protection immediately. They walked through the streets, listening to the citizens' conversations about their deeds. No one recognized them. They shared a private smile at the odd feeling. Soon they reached Heavendew City's best blacksmith. On the Douluo Continent, blacksmithing is considered a humble trade, but the top blacksmiths are usually spirit masters. This shop was run by the Strength clan, Titan's family, whose craft had made them prominent in the city. Duguyan explained what she needed. The medicine cauldron had to be large, made primarily of refined iron and reinforced with precious metals so it could withstand tempering and poison refinement. The shopkeeper's eyes lit up. It was a big order. You came to the right place, he said proudly. In all of Heavendew City, only our smithy can forge a cauldron like that, but it will use many precious metals. The base cost will be at least 10,000 gold coins. If you want even higher quality and want our clan head, Titan, to forge it personally, that's another 5,000 gold coins. Our clan head is a spirit Douluo and one of the continent's divine craftsmen. He only takes such special commissions for urgent matters, like treating his son's illness, so he doesn't accept many requests. Duguyan was surprised by the extra fee, but nodded. All right, have your clan head make it. If I'm not satisfied, I won't pay. Even if your clan head is a spirit Douluo, that won't scare me. The shopkeeper promised confidently. Rest assured, our Strength clan has a good reputation. We will forge a cauldron to your satisfaction. It will take about half a month. We require a tenth of the total as a deposit, 1,500 gold coins. Let's register the order. Duguyan paid without hesitation. She wasn't worried about being cheated. If she wasn't satisfied, she could have her grandpa intervene. After leaving the shop, Wang Li glanced back, amused by the subplot of Titan raising money for his son's treatment. It wasn't his business, and he had bigger priorities, improving his strength. He might look for Lu Gao in Gengjin City later, but for now, training came first. Duguyan's errands continued. She ordered a pile of jade vessels at the jade market, picked rare medicinal herbs at the pharmacy for use as auxiliary medicines, and purchased many seeds. She was preparing to get to work. Meanwhile, Dugubo went to the Tiando Great Auction House in person. A titled Douluo's visit drew the house's managers out to greet him. Dugubo didn't waste time. He opened a spirit tool and produced the gem-type illusion head spirit bone they had taken from Shi Nian. This old man wishes to auction this item at the Tiando Great Auction House, a gem-type illusion head spirit bone, roughly 30,000 years old, he announced. Its value needs no explanation. I will only accept bartering. To acquire this spirit bone, one must present a spirit bone of equal value that is either plant type, highly poisonous, or dragon-related. The managers went silent, stunned. A spirit bone appearing at the Tiando Great Auction House could raise its prestige for decades. Their eyes gleamed at the thought. Dugubo put the bone away and said, "You have 1 month. Publicize it. There aren't many forces qualified to bid, so 1 month is enough to notify them and allow preparations." One of the older managers stepped forward, bowed and said solemnly, "Your Excellency, rest assured. Trust the Tiando Great Auction House's reach. In 1 month, we will gather all qualified forces and individuals. We will also make your conditions known. Barter only, spirit bone for spirit bone." Dugubo nodded. "Prepare it then. I will take my leave." Chapter 136, Some Chores. Please subscribe. The Tiando Great Auction House moved with remarkable efficiency. Almost immediately, it sent invitations to all the top powers, asking them to attend an auction in 1 month for a spirit bone. The notice was unusually detailed. The spirit bone had been authenticated by Poison Douluo, dated at roughly 30,000 years old, and identified as a gem-type illusion skull, suitable for support spirit masters or illusion spirit masters. Poison Douluo had also stipulated that he would only accept item-for-item exchanges, plant attribute spirit bones, highly toxic attribute spirit bones, or dragon-related spirit bones of equivalent value. The reaction among the leaders of the various powers was explosive, but the Tian Great Auction House wanted to capitalize on the event for its own prestige. In Heavendew City, they deliberately spread vague rumors, never naming the owner, the exact age, or even the precise type of the spirit bone, only that in 1 month a spirit bone would be put up for auction. The result was immediate. A citywide sensation. At the Dugu family residence, it was the second day after Dugubo had returned with Dugu Yan and Wang Li. In the spacious main hall, 3 teachers from Heavendew Royal Academy had come to visit: Meng Shenji, Bai Baoshan, and Ji Lin. All formal and earnest, they regarded Wang Li and Dugu Yan with obvious emotion. Across the 4 all-continent advanced Soul Master competitions so far, Spirit Hall has taken 2 championships, the Star Luo Empire won, and finally our Heavendew Empire has secured one, Meng Shenji said. This is thanks to students Wang Li and Dugu Yan. We must thank your grace, Dugu Bo, for cultivating such outstanding juniors. Yet the academy seems to have reaped all the glory. The praise feels disproportionate. Dugu Bo sat in the main seat, slightly puckering his lips. Everyone was crediting him with their success, when in truth much of it had been Wang Li's doing. Brushing off the flattery, he waved a hand. This old man cares little for empty fame. State your business. Meng Shenji took on a more solemn tone. Looking at Wang Li and Dugu Yan, he said, "We have come to present your graduation certificates and honorary alumni scrolls. With the Spirit King strength you displayed in the Spirit Hall finals, you have far exceeded our graduation standards. Now that the Grand Soul Master Tournament is over, you are officially graduates. But remember, the doors of Heavendew Royal Academy will always be open to you. You have brought honor to the Academy. When you need assistance, we will help. Thank you, teachers." Wang Li and Dugu Yan answered together. Moved by Meng Shenji's sincerity, Wang Li added, "Teachers, we were able to bring honor to the Academy once, but to preserve that honor in the future, the Academy must cultivate more geniuses. Expand enrollment, recruit more talented students, enforce discipline, eliminate corrupt practices, raise the overall quality of students, select the best of the best, and strengthen training." Apart from the 3 Spirit Kings of the Golden Generation, most members of the Spirit Hall team were high-level spirit ancestors, so relying on a few stars is not enough. When Wang Li finished, the 3 teachers exchanged glances and sighed. They fully understood what he meant, but they were administrators, not owners. The academy belonged to the imperial family. While they could open back doors for a favored few, They had no real authority to overhaul enrollment policy or root out systemic corruption. After presenting the certificates and honorary alumni scrolls, the three teachers took their leave. From that point on, Wang Li and Du Guyan were no longer students of the academy, but free spirit masters. Only a few days after graduation, Shui Qinghe arrived on behalf of Emperor Shui Ye. He did not come to recruit them into service. He spoke more as a friend, asking whether they had encountered any trouble on the way back. Wang Li and Du Guyan had left Spirit City, passed through the Star Do Great Forest carefully, and then kept their movements secret, so no troubles had occurred. Shui Qinghe's purpose soon became clear. "Brother Wang Li, Miss Dugu," he said, "now that you have graduated, the three teachers recommended you to His Majesty, and I also spoke on your behalf. His Majesty has decided to grant both of you the title of Heaven Do Viscount. It carries no fief for now, but you will receive a generous monthly stipend from the Empire's treasury. There is also a one-time reward of 30,000 gold coins each. You are young. You may wish to continue cultivating or travel the continent, so His Majesty has allowed flexibility. When you are ready to take on responsibilities, the Viscount title can be made substantive and a fiefdom assigned. You would then become lords." Dugubo remained an honored guest of the Heaven Do Empire, but was still free to come and go. Wang Li and Du Guyan had no objection to an extra title that took up no real space, so they accepted the honor. Wang Li was outwardly grateful to Shui Qinghe. Maintaining a cordial relationship with a man of multiple identities was a useful shield that could prevent future complications. Another week or so passed, half a month since their return. Wang Li accompanied Du Guyan to the blacksmith shop run by the Strength Clan to collect the medicinal cauldron they had ordered. The same shopkeeper led them into the back courtyard, where a medicinal cauldron stood, 1.5 meters tall, its black surface deep and clear, free of any blemish, an exceptional piece of work. A sturdy, elderly craftsman emerged, tall though slightly stooped, white-haired, with weary eyes. "Two guests, I am Titan. This is the cauldron crafted to your specifications. If you're satisfied, it's cash on delivery, 15,000 gold coins, as Achi mentioned." Du Guyan inspected it thoroughly and finally nodded in approval. Satisfied with the quality, she took out a black card and said, "I'm satisfied. It's a deal." Titan smiled at last. He had confidence in his craftsmanship. His son, Tainuo, had been kept in a medicinal bath under Yang Wudi's care for 2 years, unable to wake, refusing food, barely clinging to life. The baths were all that sustained him. Yang Wudi had said the toxins had penetrated to his very bones and nearly severed his life force. The thought burned Titan with bitter anger. But after the anger faded, he could only rely on his work to earn money for medicines. Without it, his son would truly die. Thanks to MomTV31 for 100 Chidian coins and Gushu for 100 Chidian coins. In the Dugu family's backyard, Du Guyan lounged on the sofa, watching Wang Li, or more precisely, watching the 2 cards in his hand. She reached out, drew one, compared it with a card she held, then struck it down with a delighted cry. "I'm out!" Wang Li glanced at the single 9 left in his hand, then at the 2 cards in Dugu Bo's hand. His expression grew serious. The moment to decide the winner had come. "Grandpa, it's my turn to draw," he said. Dugubo's face, half covered in decorative paper strips, made his grim look a little comical. With only 2 cards left, he shuffled them back and forth before nudging them toward Wang Li. "Which one do you want, Xiao Li? Left or right?" Wang Li looked from left to right. All 3 of them were soul masters. Cheating with spirit power was impossible. In the end, it was down to luck and psychology. After a brief pause, he chose the left card. It was a 9. Together with his card, it formed a pair. "I'm out too," he announced, smiling. Du Guyan arched an eyebrow. Grandpa lost again. She picked up 2 paper strips, kept one, and stuck the other on Dugubo's face. Dugubo pretended helplessness, but he was genuinely enjoying the easy family time. For years, he'd been confined and tormented by the suppressive poison. These peaceful days felt like a reward. Later, Du Guyan frowned as she looked toward the gate. "People outside are really rude. They're peeking in openly and from the shadows. Even when we go out to shop, someone follows us." Wang Li shuffled the cards as he spoke. Grandpa took out a soul bone. "It's to be expected that people will covet it. Just get through these next few days. If we find a suitable soul bone to exchange for, we'll go into seclusion at the ice and fire yin-yang well for a while. We'll cultivate and won't be bothered every day." Dugubo snorted softly. "They're just cowards. Very few forces could actually present a soul bone to trade. Those outside can't produce anything worth trading and won't dare make a move. Ignore them." They spent the days before the auction treating it like a holiday. A little cultivation, a lot of card games. The day of the soul bone auction arrived in a flash. Dugubo led, with Wang Li and Dugu Yan behind him, and the three of them made their way to the Tiandao Great Auction House. The onlookers and eavesdroppers disappeared as soon as they reached the venue. Under an attendant's guidance, they were escorted to the VIP boxes on the top floor. An usher bowed and approached. "Your Grace, the head soul bone you wish to auction will be the finale of today's event. You may need to wait a while. To thank you for choosing Tiando, we will waive handling fees and provide our fullest service." Dugubo knew the favor went both ways. The auction house would gain enormously from the publicity. After the usher left, Prince Xuexing appeared to represent the imperial family. He quietly informed Dugubo that the imperial guards had been mobilized in the city to ensure the auction went smoothly, a subtle display of imperial support. Dugubo bowed and expressed his thanks. When only Dugubo, Duguyan, and Wang Li remained in the VIP box, Dugubo peered through the glass at the rest of the hall. "Representatives from many forces are here. I just hope someone can produce a soul bone worth exchanging." Soul bones were rare. Not every soul beast, even one thousands of years old, left behind a usable soul bone. Dugubo couldn't be sure he'd find a suitable match. The auction proceeded. Treasures came onto the stage and quickly found buyers. The house filled, ordinary and VIP seats packed with people who could not bid on soul bones but wanted to watch anyway. After a few hours, the auctioneer's voice rose excitedly. "Distinguished guests, we come to the end of today's auction. Our final, grand item is about to be presented, a soul bone. Please welcome your Grace Bilin to display the finale, a gem-type illusion head bone." The announcement electrified the hall. Dugubo stood. "I'll go down for a bit. Don't leave. If I secure an exchange, I'll take you both out of the city immediately." He flew onto the stage, released his aura to silence the crowd, and opened a box from his storage tool. A head bone gleamed with a dazzling light. Approximately 30,000 years old, a gem-type illusion head bone. "I don't want coins. I seek an exchange for a suitable soul bone, plant attribute, potent poison attribute, or dragon-type soul bone." Offers of coin escalated into the hundreds of thousands, but Dugubo frowned. Money meant little compared to finding the right soul bone. The people capable of producing one would be in the VIP seats. For a long moment, no one dared step forward. Exposing a soul bone risked disaster if the trade failed. Finally, Ningfengji spoke. "Your Grace, Bilin, the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School offers a 40,000-year-old man-faced demon spider left-arm soul bone. Are you willing to trade?" Among soul bones, head and torso bones were the most prized. Limbs were secondary. A 30,000-year-old head for a 40,000-year-old left arm could be a fair exchange. Dugubo considered, then asked, "Is there truly no one else who wishes to exchange for this head bone?" Silence answered. No one could produce anything better than the 40,000-year-old man-faced demon spider bone. After a pause, Dugubo nodded. "Sectmaster Ning, I will exchange with you." He stepped down and returned to the VIP box. Ning Fengji and Chen Qin followed, and soon Chen Qin produced a brocade box. Inside lay a relatively complete left arm soul bone, its surface dark and gleaming. Dugubo took out the illusion head bone, stepped forward, and the two men completed the exchange with taut attention from the crowd. Once each had the bone they wanted, the atmosphere relaxed. Ning Fengji smiled broadly. After seeing Wang Li and Du Guyan's strength in the Grand Soul Master Tournament, he had felt urgency. His own daughter, Ning Rongrong, deserved peers of talent. Exchanging a 40,000-year-old limb bone for a 30,000-year-old head seemed like a loss on paper, but the right soul bone was more valuable. He invited Wang Li and Du Guyan to visit the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School. Wang Li bowed politely. "Uncle Ning, thank you, but because of this soul bone matter, we've decided to go into seclusion with Grandpa for a while." Ning Fengji regretted it, but understood. A pity, but sensible. Soul bones draw attention. With polite farewells, Ning Fengji and Chen Xin left the auction house. Dugu Bo had no intention of lingering either. "Let's head out of the city," he said. They quickly left Heaven Do City. The story of the exchange spread and was chewed over by many, but the three of them were already gone. At the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well, Dugu Bo held the exchange left arm soul bone inside. Soul bones are so rare that choice is limited. Still, obtaining a 40,000-year-old man-faced demon spider left arm bone is fortunate. He turned to Wang Li and Dugu Yan. "Xiao Li, thanks for your help earlier. Yan Yan, you should absorb it. With the man-faced demon spider's nature, this bone will enhance your poison skills greatly." Wang Li nodded. "Yan Yanji, absorb it quickly. Use this time to break through to soul power level 60 as soon as you can." Dugu Yan felt apologetic, but resolved not to waste their kindness. She took the left arm soul bone and began absorbing it. It took over 4 hours for the 40,000-year-old bone to integrate completely. When her breathing evened, she opened her eyes. "Grandpa, Xiao Li, I succeeded." "What did you gain?" Wang Li asked. "There are 3 main gains," Dugu Yan replied. "First, my soul power has broken through to level 59. Second, my poison abilities have improved. Soul skills that apply poison will be about 20% stronger. Third, I gained the soul bone skill, the man-faced demon spider's stealth." She demonstrated. When she injected soul power into the bone, a dark sheen bloomed along her left arm and then rapidly enveloped her. In an instant, she vanished, body and aura both gone from sight. Even with their considerable spiritual senses, Dugu Bo and Wang Li couldn't locate her. Dugu Yan reappeared at will. "The man-faced demon spider's stealth can completely hide both my form and my aura until my next attack. It can be used repeatedly in combat, but it consumes a great deal of soul power. Also, when my soul power fluctuates a lot during intense soul power use, the stealth can be less stable." Wang Li and Dugu Bo exchanged looks, impressed. The new ability and the boost to her poison skills had made Dugu Yan far more formidable than before. Dugu Bo exclaimed in surprise, "Excellent! A 10,000-year man-faced demon spider with that stealth ability, whether hunting weaker foes or fleeing stronger ones, it will be invincible." Now that Dugu Yan has this spirit bone ability, and with her identity as a control system spirit master, she can open control and finish an enemy in one move, Wang Li added. "In dangerous moments, it's a life-saving divine skill. This spirit bone was worth every bit of effort." Wang Li's mind flashed to the original story. A 10,000-year man-faced demon spider had used that ability to ambush Tang San and Xiao Wu on their escape route, cutting off their only path to survival. That ambush pushed Tang San to the brink and forced Xiao Wu to make her sacrifice. Tang San had a spirit bone and a domain back then, yet he hadn't detected the spider lying in wait. That showed just how powerful the ability was. Smiling at the memory, Wang Li continued, "Truly divine. We waited for so long, and now everyone knows Dugu Yan has a spirit bone. This life-saving skill came at the right time." Dugu Yan's resolve was firm. She had just absorbed the mind-condensing wisdom skull and the man-faced demon spider's left arm spirit bone. Absorbing 2 spirit bones in quick succession meant she had to push herself harder to break through. "I'm already at 59 spirit power," she said solemnly. "If I cultivate diligently and take some potent herbs, I'll definitely reach 60 before the year ends." Dugu Bo was ecstatic. If Dugu Yan broke through before year's end, she would become a spirit emperor at around 22 years old. Across the world, only Wang Li might surpass her. Dugu Yan kept her word and immediately prepared the medicine cauldron. Dugu Bo assisted. He knew the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well best. After greeting them both, Wang Li entered the Yin-Yang well himself. Having consumed the Ice and Fire immortal herb, the well's extreme heat and cold were little more than pleasant warmth and coolness to him. "I'm at 65, he thought. "I'll push straight to 70 here, then raise the spirit ring ages, temper my body, and purify my spirit power so I can better absorb high-grade spirit rings in the future." Adopting a cultivation posture, Wang Li opened his panel and began to cultivate using his experience. Spirit power surged like a torrent through his meridians, gathering at his dantian and rotating at high speed. With each cycle, his strength grew. The improvement was clearly perceptible. It wasn't the instant leap that absorbing a spirit ring or spirit bone gives, but the steady increase was far faster than ordinary self-cultivation. 5 days later, he opened his eyes to the sound of crisp cracks as his body adjusted. He checked his dantian. His total spirit power had doubled, reaching the quasi-spirit saint level of 70. Now he only needed to absorb a 10,000-year spirit ring, broaden his meridians, and expand his dantian to become a true spirit saint and continue advancing. A good spirit ring could widen meridians, enlarge the dantian, and raise total spirit power. In truth, Wang Li's existing spirit rings, because their ages already exceeded normal limits, had already made his meridians and dantian far beyond his nominal level. Although he was a 70-level quasi-spirit saint, his total spirit power rivaled some genuine high-level spirit saints. In this world, the rules were strict. Spirit masters couldn't open their dantian on their own. To break through major realms, they had to absorb spirit rings. Wang Li felt satisfied, but when he checked his panel, he sucked in a breath. Raising 5 spirit power levels during the Spirit Emperor stage had consumed 100,000 experience points. 100,000 experience points, that was the equivalent of a 100,000-year spirit ring. He thought of the original tale, where Tongsan's gain from Xiaowu's sacrifice had only seemed to raise him 6 levels, despite getting her spirit ring and spirit bone. The math felt both unreasonable and yet understandable. After all, his realm had been raised directly. Still, if Spirit Emperor level advances consumed so much, what would Spirit Saints, Spirit Douluo, and Titled Douluo require? Wang Li sighed at the prospect of chasing experience again. At least he had 260,000 experience points left, enough to comprehensively upgrade his spirit rings. He left the Ice and Fire Well, reported to Dugubo and Duguyan, ate, and rested the night away. Returning to the well the next day, he focused on upgrading his rings. He began with his first ring. Focusing his will, the yellow ring seemed to come alive. As it expanded and contracted, energy flowed into it from all directions, and the ring began to evolve. The feedback surged into Wang Li's body, like absorbing a true spirit ring. His body was tempered again, and because that feedback came from a 10,000-year spirit ring, the strengthening was extraordinary. The ring's color deepened from yellow to a hint of purple before turning fully purple. The evolution continued. As the purple deepened, it took on a black tint, then became completely black. Wang Li's face tightened. Feedback from 10,000-year level cultivation and tempering brought intense pain even as it advanced him. He didn't stop there. His 1st through 5th spirit rings all climbed to the 50,000-year level. Finally, he poured all his remaining experience into his 6th spirit ring. That 6th ring, already close to 60,000 years, surged past 60 toward 70,000. But the process did not end there. Under the tempest of feedback, it darkened, then cooled into a deep black, and at the peak, it blazed with a crimson edge until it turned fully blood red. In the end, it broke through to a true 100,000-year spirit ring. When the last of his experience was spent, the agony vanished, and an endless current of power flowed through his limbs. Wang Li stifled a shout. He was inside the yin-yang well, and opening his mouth would only inhale his own bathwater. So he kept silent, but exhilaration flooded him. He felt his strength increase by dozens, perhaps hundreds of times. With his 1st spirit ability, he could conjure a massive blue-silver forest. With his 6th spirit ability, he could seal an entire fortress city. He could stand toe-to-toe with a titled Douluo. Peering inward at his dantian, Wang Li frowned. It was vast beyond imagination. His meridians were astonishingly wide. His original spirit power felt like a small stream, nowhere near enough to fill them. Even though I'm level 70, he thought, I seem able to hold much more spirit power. He tried to force more in. Using his 4th spirit ability, he poured a massive influx of energy into himself and refined it with his cultivation method. Yet his internal spirit power didn't increase. He refused to believe it. The yin-yang well's energy was limitless. How could his meridians and dantian remain unfilled? It dawned on him, the advancing rules were deliberately harsh. The higher you rose, the more experience was required. But with the martial soul true body and the blessing of at least 7 10,000-year spirit rings, both his body and his spirit power were effectively at titled Douluo level. fighting prolonged, fierce battles with titled Douluo, rather than the light sparring he had endured under Douluo, could yield tens of thousands or even over 100,000 experience points at a time. So his leveling wouldn't truly be slow. Wang Li steadied himself, resolving to keep pushing. His Dantian and Meridians had room for more, and with the right gains, more high-grade spirit rings and real hard-won experience, there was no reason he couldn't grow even stronger. Thanks to fellow readers, Plains Melon for 500 Chidian coins, MomTV31 for 236 Chidian coins, and Tuni23010512040652 for 100 Chidian coins for their rewards. 139. Douluo breaks through. Douluo breaks through. It felt good to spend all that experience. Wang Li relaxed. Any earlier caution was gone now that he'd graduated and no one was watching him. With his domain masking his spirit ring colors, his terrifying ring lineup, black, 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 red, could still appear as yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, black. It would not be so shocking to others, and if he ever needed an excuse, he could claim a godly inheritance, explained the anomaly. 5 10,000-year rings and 100,000-year ring had given a massive boost. His Dantian could hold far more spirit power than before. Every day he went to the ice and fire yin-yang well to cultivate, refining the ice and fire energies there to fill his body's needs. All his spirit abilities were now explosively powerful, but their cost was high. They demanded huge reserves of spirit power. The yin-yang well's energy suited him perfectly, especially after consuming the ice and fire immortal herb, which made the well's ice and fire energies compatible with his body. The poisons and fires he'd absorbed had been concentrated in his spirit and doubled in potency. They could still be used as deadly techniques later. The first good news between the two elders came from Douluo. Douluo was still refining potent toxins and processing certain medicinal ingredients. Different herbs required different methods, and crafting top-grade poisons was a complex process. Douluo had broken through to level 95 over a year ago. Now, after another year of accumulating spirit power, he'd broken through again. He had become a peak Douluo at level 96. Wang Li felt rejuvenated. His cultivation speed had returned to the rapid pace of his youth. After consuming the Earth Dragon Golden Gourd, Douluo's spirit had absorbed its medicinal power and partially transformed, gaining an Earth attribute. His poison spirit, the Jade Phosphor Serpent, acquired a second, broad Earth attribute that increased its carrying capacity and enabled Douluo to actively suppress his own toxins. By fully integrating the Earth energy into himself, the Jade Phosphor Serpent became heavier and more attuned to the ground. If he could not become a soaring dragon, being a serpent ancestor rooted to the earth would be a worthy fate. Standing on the ground, he could draw endless power and gain a serious bump in cultivation and combat strength. Relying on the continuous power drawn from the earth, compressed by a cyclone and integrated into his Dantian, he finally broke through. The Danju, a life-bound object condensed by Douluo when he became a titled Douluo, and his Belin snake evolved into the Jade Phosphor Serpent, represented half his power source. Douluo condensed a cyclone that connected externally to his Dantian and internally to the Danju. As it solidified, it absorbed and compressed spirit power, polishing the Danju until it became increasingly translucent, emerald green, perfectly round, and strangely mystical. From the small house outside Waterfall Valley, Douluo recounted his breakthroughs to Wang Li and Douluo, sharing tactics and experiences and growing emotional as he did. At level 96, he'd surpassed rivals like Chrysanthemum Douluo and Ghost Douluo. Douluo sighed with admiration. "Congratulations, Grandpa," she said. "When I break through to titled Douluo one day, I should be able to condense a Danzu too. With 9 spirit rings, my spirit will evolve again. Maybe mine will become the Biphosphorus Dragon Emperor." Wang Li nodded. Grandpa's titled Douluo strength let him refine the Earth Dragon Golden Gourd so quickly. Yanyanjie consumed 2 complementary immortal herbs, Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng and Yearning Heartbroken Red. Their medicinal power won't be absorbed all at once. It will keep nourishing her spirit. As she absorbs more spirit rings and develops, her Biphosphorus Dragon evolving into a Biphosphorus Dragon Emperor will surely gain new powers. It made sense. If the two immortal herbs had evolved Duguyan's spirit toward top-tier status, there would be further potential beyond merely feeding on poisons or a life-bound spirit ring. New functions could develop, a domain, an ultimate attribute, things that hadn't yet surfaced because the herb's medicinal power hadn't been fully refined. As her strength rose, she would gain new abilities. Dugubo agreed. Xiao Li is right. Immortal herbs are miraculous. My potential can probably only take me to level 97. Once I force all my toxins into the Danzu, I should hit 97, and my poison attribute will reach an extreme. After that, my potential will be almost exhausted. But Yan, your potential is above mine. Your future will be greater. Once I'm at 97, even without outside help, I can help you hunt a 100,000-year spirit beast to smooth your future breakthroughs. Wang Li added, there are so many other immortal herbs around the yin-yang well. If we refine them into medicines, they can enhance cultivation. We're sitting on a treasure mountain. 97 might not be the limit. Maybe we can reach 98, 99. Duguyan was confident. Xiao Li is right. Among the immortal herbs, the assembled heavenly chrysanthemum and the narcissus jade musclebone complement each other, and so do the Chiluo tulip and the 8-petal immortal orchid. Their properties can be neutralized and made into spirit medicines to boost cultivation. I've done a lot of poison research. Next, I'll study medicines. When I'm ready, I'll start refining spiritual medicines. Dugubo looked at them, took a breath, and did not refuse. He likely understood he could only reach level 97, but he didn't begrudge aiming higher for Duguyan. He turned to Wang Li. Xiao Li, how's your cultivation? Your spirit and innate spirit power are weaker than Yan's. Even if you cultivate quickly, after title Douluo, it depends on the spirit's potential. You might need these herbs someday. Wang Li waved him off. Don't worry, my spirit is mutated. It can continue mutating, so its potential keeps increasing. As I grow stronger, my cultivation speed hasn't slowed. It's become even faster. Dugubo and Duguyan were curious, but Wang Li didn't reveal that he had already broken through to level 70. He planned to announce that later, when his meridians and dantian were fully filled. While Wang Li grew in seclusion, Heavendo City saw many changes. At 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, Ning Fengji traded the man-faced demon spider's left arm spirit bone for an illusion skull, not for himself, but for Ning Rongrong. Spirit Hall's younger generation had a golden cohort of prodigies, and among the few geniuses the school did have, Wang Li and Duguyan stood out as spirit kings created by poisoned Douluo Dugubo. Ning Fengji wanted Ning Rongrong to stay and cultivate at the school with the illusion skull, keeping her close to avoid being targeted. Shrek Academy saw upheaval. Flender received an investment and completed Ning Rongrong's graduation procedures. Of the original Shrek 7 Devils, Xiao Wu returned to the Star Do Great Forest, and Tang San was taken by Tang Hao to Waterfall Valley. Tang San's defeat in the Grand Soul Master Tournament had shattered his spirit. Tang Hao wanted to restore his courage and skill. He put Tang San on a strict regimen, trained the disorder-splitting wind hammer method with the clear sky hammer. With prior blacksmithing foundations, but without the ice and fire immortal herbs tempering, Tang San could only manage 27 hammer swings even when pushing himself. Tang Hao's plan was clear: 1 year to master the hammer method and regain fighting spirit, 3 years to break through to level 50 and become a spirit king before 18, 5 years to complete the Slaughter City trial and infuse the Clear Sky Hammer with the Slaughter God domain. Tang San and Xiao Wu were Tang Hao's hope for striking back at Spirit Hall. With Xiao Wu and Tang San gone, 2 of the 7 devils were missing. Oscar worked hard to reach level 40 and planned to pursue his goddess at the 7 Treasure School, though without immortal herbs his combat potential remained uncertain. Ma Hongjin squandered his time in brothels. As his strength grew, so did his uncontrollable demonic flames and his debts. He might never escape that life. Dai Mubai reverted to being a carefree playboy. With Dai Weisi and Zhu Zhuyan out of the picture, he intended to enjoy himself until his mid-20s. Zhu Zhuqing trained relentlessly, motivated by imminent danger to her family and the need to be able to resist them. Yu Xiaogang, the Shrek 7 Devils teacher, lost his heart for teaching without Tang San and locked himself away to research strength in the domain of God, still hoping for Tang San's return. Back at the ice and fire yin yang yang. Well, 3 months passed. Dugu Yan completed refining an array of deadly poisons, even mixtures that made Dugu Bo's eyelids twitch. With her spirit talent, she dared not ingest large doses. She would become poison drunk, losing consciousness as her body metabolized the toxins. She took small amounts, circulated them through her cultivation methods, and with her talent transformed them into spirit power. About 10 days later, she officially broke through to level 60, a quasi-spirit emperor, at just 22 years old. Dugubo and Wang Li shared her joy. Wang Li turned inward. His meridians and dantian were packed with an extremely viscous, mercury-like spirit fluid. When it flowed, it felt like a pouring Milky Way, immense and weighty. In total volume, he was nearly on par with an ordinary titled Douluo, but the quality of his spirit power still lagged. He had tried compressing it further, but there was no binding agent between the spirit particles. They wouldn't solidify. Hunting that blue-silver king, becoming a spirit saint, and advancing to blue-silver emperor might give him the breakthrough he needed. Leaving the ice and fire yin-yang well, they stepped out into the sunset forest. Lush foliage and verdant trees filled the air with a fresh, clean scent that struck them the moment they emerged. Dugubo turned to his granddaughter. Yan Yan, a 6th spirit ring for a spirit master, is usually at most around 20,000 years. For your 6th ring, how old a spirit beast do you want it to be? Dugu Yan looked at Wang Li, thought for a moment, then spoke with quiet confidence. I can't compare to Xiao Li, but I'm no ordinary spirit master. For my 6th ring, I want a spirit beast of around 40,000 years. 40,000 years? Dugubo's eyes widened. That was double what most spirit masters could take. Still, he had seen remarkable things lately. Only half a year ago, Wang Li had absorbed a 6th spirit ring of over 50, almost 60,000 years. Dugubo considered it, and noting Dugu Yan's 2 immortal herbs and 2 spirit bones, nodded. 40,000 years it is. There are a few highly venomous spirit beasts in this forest at that age. The man-faced demon spider, the underground down devil spider, the datura snake, the purple cloud venomous scorpion. Wang Li cut in. Grandpa, Yan Yan Jie, if you want a 40,000-year spirit beast, I know a better option. I've explored the Sunset Forest before. Near the Gold Iron Mountain Range in the northern province, I once saw traces of a centipede sky dragon. It should be around 40,000 years. The centipede sky dragon is like a giant centipede, fast, 100 feet long, and rumored to carry a poisonous dragon bloodline. Its venom can drain life from plant and animal alike. I think it would suit Yan Yan Jie better as her 6th spirit ring. Dugubo's interest was piqued. The centipede sky dragon's venom and rumored dragon bloodline sounded perfect for Dugu Yan, but he still cautioned, that's a good idea, but we must confirm its exact age. If it's too old, Yan Yan could be in danger. Dugu Yan clapped her hands happily. It's decided, Xiao Li. Take us there. Thank you. Wang Li nodded, activated instant step, and shot forward. He also expanded his blue-silver domain, instantly covering several thousand meters. Every blade of blue-silver grass within it thrummed with life, as if they were cheering. Dugubo flew low with Dugu Yan, staying just behind Wang Li. The blue-silver domain was perfect for locating spirit beasts, and they put the distance between them and the well behind them. After about 2 hours, they reached the Gold Iron Mountain Range. The range was ringed by crags and bare slopes. Tall trees were scarce, but tenacious plants, above all blue-silver grass, still grew thick. Wang Li quickly found the centipede sky dragon. Grandpa, Yan Yanji, I'll flush it out first, he said. Dugubo set Dugu Yan down. Be careful, the centipede sky dragon is vicious. I'll act if things go wrong. Wang Li smiled inwardly. He wanted to test his strength. Within his domain, blue light ignited, and he poured his power into the blue-silver grass. The grass transformed, sturdier, taller, with the clear, crystalline quality of the famed blue-silver king. They became like disciplined soldiers at his command. A surge of transformed grass swept into a mountain cave and disturbed the resting centipede sky dragon. It roared and exploded out of the cave, a black blur of motion. Over 10 meters long and as thick as a water vat, it was armored in layered black carapace. Underneath it marched row upon row of razor-sharp legs, hundreds of them, horrifying and terrifying. It locked eyes on Dugubo first, then fixed on Duguyan, the weakest-looking human, and lunged. But Wang Li was quicker. He sent another wave of blue silver grass to cut off its escape, hemming it in from all sides. "Xiao Li, you can control all the blue silver grass on this mountain?" Dugubo called, astonished. Wang Li nodded. "My domain evolved when I absorbed my spirit ring last time. Grandpa, protect Yan Yan Ji. Let me try." Enraged at being encircled by mere grass, the centipede sky dragon unleashed a black, corrosive light. Where it passed, the blue-silver grass withered as if their vitality had been siphoned away. This was not ordinary corrosive toxin, but a decaying poison that robbed life itself. Wang Li didn't hesitate. He called on his spirit. His 6 spirit rings flashed into being, and his second spirit ability, Life Force, blazed out in dazzling light. A surge of pure life energy spread from him. The withered blue-silver grass soaked it up and immediately revived, sprouting greener and stronger than before. The grass multiplied and rushed forward in wave after wave. The whole gold iron mountain range seemed to turn into a blue-silver sea. The grass advanced, withering under the dragon's black light, then regenerating, surging again. Finally, they overwhelmed the toxin and swarmed the centipede sky dragon's body. Grasses wrapped around its carapace, forced through gaps, pierced its flesh, and rooted deeply, binding it in place. By sheer power of life, Wang Li held the 40,000-year centipede sky dragon suspended and helpless. With a single thought, he could have torn it apart, but he didn't need to. Its strength was broken, and the battle was won. Wang Li grinned. With his 10,000-year revival ability, he could turn himself into an army wherever blue-silver grass grew. Anywhere on the continent with that grass, he would be invincible.